Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this first ever casting stream coverage of the Clash of the Classes featuring myself, Clyde Plays Live. Of course, I've got my sidekick with me today. We've got Scotta Hurt in the studio with us. Let me unmute him. Hey Scotta, how are you doing this fine evening?
Hello. I am doing fine, and I'm excited for this silliness that we're embarking on.
Yeah, this should be pretty exciting. I've never casted a tournament before. I think this is your first time as well. And so we've got a lot to talk about and a lot to cover. A lot of what I've been getting from people when we bring this up, I've been talking about this on my stream for several weeks now. They've been saying to me, what is Clash of the Classes? Where can I learn more about it? And I give people the link. You, of course, can check this out at clashoftheclasses.net. It's a website there, and I've got a Google Doc that describes all the rules to the tournament. But at the highest, most basic level, I'm going to go over kind of what we've got on the screen here, which is it is a 4 versus 4 tournament. It's centered on the North American servers, and it's hosted by the YOLO community and I think the Kraken community. Somehow those folks are related. It's largely organized by a player named Hold My Beer. If you see Hold My Beer out there and you've had a great time studying or learning about Clash of the Classes, or if you've just enjoyed any of the games that you watch on the streams tonight or throughout this weekend and into next week, and you see Hold My Beer out there, just say, hey Beer, thanks man for putting together that tournament, because he's worked very hard to bring this thing together. Now, there's a point-buy system for choosing your teams. This isn't just a Tier 8 tournament or a Tier 10 tournament. This is a tournament where you choose your ships using a point-buy system. Each team gets 41 points to spend, and ships cost somewhere between 6 and 18 points, depending on what tier they are and whether or not they're premiums. What that means is you can wind up with matches. In fact, I watched a match last night. I think it was streamed on Sith Kitten's stream. You can check her out at twitch.tv/Sith Kitten. Sith is in Star Wars Sith. They had a Pommern facing off with a Königsberg. Now, Pommern is a Tier 9 premium battleship versus a Königsberg and a light cruiser from Tier 5. So it can be pretty crazy. But there's a lot of strategy, I think, in picking those ships, too. You know, Scott, taking a look at this point-buy system, where do you think teams could make errors? Or do you think there's maybe a strategy there that could work or could not work? I honestly have kind of no idea.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the information you shared about some of what's banned. There are some really interesting things that are banned. I don't know if we want to dip into that, but we talked about being able to use tiers 10, any tier really. I think you can use. You can take tier 10s. You've got 41 points to spend, and the tier 10s cost 18 points, and it's only tech tree 10s. You can't take any premiums or any special tier 10s.
That's right.
Those are all banned. So there's a lot of ships right away. Folks are thinking, okay, well, here's the tier 10 I would play. If you played in clans, it's probably banned. Fortunately, tier 11s are banned, so super ships are banned. One of the things I was thinking would be fun is like, oh, well, can you sneak in a Tone or a Kearsarge? No, you cannot. Carrier hybrids are all banned, all 3 of them.
Right.
Interestingly enough, Belfast banned, probably just because it's old school reputation for being overpowered. Paolo Emilio banned, probably because it would be fun. I'm not sure. That's an interesting one that they banned.
I found that to be an interesting pick as well. I really did.
I think one other thing I was just going to say that I thought was interesting here is that you can take Musashi, but Musashi costs as much as Yamato. It's also 18 points, so there's no. They were real smart. You got to give Hold My Beer and the folks behind this credit. When they put together this style, they said, nah, you can't, you're not going to get to sneak in a Musashi, because a tier 9 premium would cost 15 points. So I could be like, I could take a Musashi, and that saves me 3 points off of taking Yamato, which I could take another tier 8 or something. Right now, you can't do it. You can't get away with it.
Well, and if I can jump in there briefly.
Sorry.
No, you're doing great. You and I are going to do, we're going to need to make sure we do this dance where we trade back and forth. But one of the things that, like you said earlier, you're thinking, oh, I'll take my favorite tier 10. Well, at 18 points, like you said, maybe it's banned, or maybe your favorite tier 10 is a tech tree ship. At 18 points, say you want to take your Schlieffen in there, what's your team going to do? You've left them 23 points to build the rest of the team, the other 4 players. And that could be a really tall order. because you could take 3 tier 5s, I guess, based on the thing. I recommend anybody watching go to clashoftheclasses.net and check out the rulebook. It's interesting. Back to you, man. What else you got?
Yeah, no, I was just saying you're exactly right. Like taking a tier 10 is really, I mean, it's 18 of the 41 points, and so like you said, that leaves you with 23 points, and you're then, you probably take in some 8s because 8s are 11 points. Unless it's a premium, which is probably what you would take, a 12. In a little bit, I was bouncing around a little bit like you were last night, looking at some of the other
watching some of the other streams, yeah.
And I am green to this because competitive play like this isn't something I usually check out unless Wargaming gives me free crates while I watch it, right? So it's not a thing that I seek out generally.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at some of the stuff folks were playing, and you're right. Like, you're gonna. I think you'll see stuff like Massachusetts, and you're gonna see some of those 8s that we think are strong. I think you're gonna. You talked about a Palmer and being involved. I think you're gonna see where teams are able to spend 15 points on a premium tier 9. But I think you're going to see a wide variety then of situations where folks are bringing like 6, it's like, well, I got a 9 and an 8, and then I have to bring like a 6 and a 5, right? And so like when we think about this with no CVs and things of that nature, there are some lower tier destroyers that you can play almost at any tier. Like I would have banned Fujin Kamikaze and Kamikaze R at seven points. That's a bargain at any price because I feel like I can fight most ships in that ship.
It really is.
They're so concealed, and so that ship, I don't know. I would ban that. I would have banned that. But anyway, I hope we see some of them, and I hope they do crazy things. So.
I hope so too. I think there's a lot of flexibility there. I'm going to keep going. We talked about points there for a bit. I got a couple more bullet points on the slide here, which is obviously we've been talking a little bit about this already, but it's tiers 5 through 10. So you can see ships as low as tier 5 and as high as tier 10. And of course, the build of every team is going to be 2 cruisers, 1 destroyer, 1 battleship. I'm getting word right now that our training room is open, and I think maybe we'll go there real quickly, and I'm going to find out which map we're playing. So give me just a moment here as we take care of some business. Now, as Scott and I have said, we're both new to this, so there may be some figuring things out that we're doing. There it is. Scotta, it looks like it's our first room. The same user created it as we thought. I just did a search for him up there.
Okay.
And you'll track him down that way. If you're joining us in chat, there is a 3-minute delay, by the way. And one thing I want to remind you guys about is that there is a prize that the tournament is giving away for the best Twitch clip of the whole weekend or week, really. It's like a 10-day tournament. So if you guys wind up finding a really great clip, make sure you join the Clash of the Classes Discord, I think is how you submit it. You can check it out on the rules for the tourney. Sorry, I'm trying to type and talk at the same time. Looks like our first map is going to be Ring. And so let's take a look at Ring. I've got a picture of it here. Let me pull that up here. So this is Ring. It's going to be a 4 domination, 4 cap map. Now, just 4 ships on a team, you'll have a hard time really getting a lot of getting all of those caps capped early. So I think what you're going to see is probably one push to one side. Scotta, let me send you these maps. I think I have them somewhere. I don't know that you're going to, with the delay, you're going to have a hard time seeing what I'm looking at over here.
It is different than when we normally do this. That is true. I don't really need to have Twitch up because it is a 0 use to me.
That's true with the delay. Let me find out where I parked these and we can chat about them. But
No
we
worries.
do have the maps up there. Like I said, it's 4 caps around the outside. Thinking about that, I don't know how much I would split the teams, but I think you would want to split them a little bit. I don't know. Let me track these down.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I think with such small setups, and where you can only run 1 DD, How much do you want to try to, if it's if you're going to send like the bulk of your force to one cap and you're going to launch the DD off to try to pick up a second one and then skitter away, or you can, I can't imagine you want to do like 2-2 splits, but maybe you do. And again, this is, I haven't been watching how this tournament has played out, so this is kind of like a guy who's like, hey, you guys want to come call a cricket match? And I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get free lunch, I guess. Well, there's a sticky wicket. I know that much.
There's a sticky, and it's inningses. I think innings is a plural, but also a singular. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Let's see. I need to fix all these files, but I think I have found the file path now. I just have to navigate it here. I should have sent this to you earlier. I have a folder in there called Maps. Oh, it's in Pix Maps. There we go. Sort them by date.
Just stop humming. Just both be very quiet and just to have some dead air.
Dead air is fine, I've been told. Here you go. This is going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maps. So Ring is that map there, which we're looking at on the screen. Scott is going to have a copy of that shortly. I should have sent you the specific map we needed first, but I wasn't thinking. So Ring, of course, has a ring of maps in the center. This is a lower or mid-tier map. None of these maps are very large, and so you're going to find that the action's going to happen pretty quick. Another thing about the Clash of the Classes tournament is these are 10-minute matches. They're setting them very short, so we get into combat very quickly, and any hesitation whatsoever can either cost your team a little bit of performance, or it can be it can be the thing that saves you. Like maybe you stay alive a little bit because you've managed to keep yourself from getting into too much of an aggressive combat scenario. But yeah, they're, I don't know, man. I think these maps are going to be small and the combat's going to be fast and furious.
Yeah, 10 minutes on this map is probably all the time you need.
To get 4 ships killed, yeah.
Yeah, we've all played this map a lot, and you play this map a lot in, 5s and 6s, even in 4s. Everybody, you're the illustrious community contributor now. I'm actually part of the World of Warships Super Test team. I play a lot of matches at a lot of weird tiers, probably more than most people do, but low tier 5. And we see that this map is very prominent in those lower tiers. And so yeah. I think you're going to see either you're going to play Ring Around the Rosie, or you're going to go to the same basic point. From the spawns, you got one team that spawns in the southeast or southwest, and one team that spawns in the northeast, and you're either all going to drive to Charlie or Alpha and then duke it out, or you're going to play Ring Around the Rosie, right? So it'd be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah. I'm really curious about the splitting. I did watch a couple of matches yesterday, and when we ended up seeing like a battleship face off against 2 ships with maybe the battleship had the destroyer with it, but the cruisers went the other way. There's usually, at least on the 4 or 5 matches I watched last night, there's a quick kill, and then there's either a recovery or not. It can be really explosive, so I'm kind of hoping that we have a pretty solid match. We're about 8 minutes away from the planned start of our first battle today. We have only 2 of the 8 players in the room so far, but of course Scott and I are ready to roll as well at just a moment's notice. We've also got, they're using Tournament, which is spelled kind of funky. But they've got this website here that you can check out as well, where you can kind of see what's going on in some of the scheduled scores and the games that are coming up. I haven't spent enough time on here to really know exactly how this works, but after tonight's casting, I'm going to be interested in checking out this website. So you guys can check this out. I'll track down the link for you between matches at some point and share that with you. What did I say we're on? We're on Ring, so we're going to go back to Ring.
Now, one thing that we didn't mention is in the event that any of the teams are short, you and I have to fill in, right? That was...
I wish, dude. Wouldn't that be great? We'll come in and decide your fate.
I don't know. We only had 2 guys couldn't come. What are you 2 in the spectator? We're just going to move you out of the spectator box.
Me and Scott are over here popping our popcorn. What? We got a face full of popcorn.
Yeah, exactly. Nope. We're hoping that we don't have any concerns of that nature, and that all participants arrive on time.
Are ready to roll.
Ready to battle.
I did message all of the team leads, and I wished them good luck before we got started, just so they'd know we were showing up, and they wouldn't run off and get started without us, and so we could spend a little time chatting about the things that are going on. We can talk about some of the other maps that we expect to see. I don't know what we'll see tonight, but Archipelago is, again, another lower tier 5-ish type map. We've got the, again, domination battle mode here with 3 caps. This is going to be a very traditional map to do warships combat on. Again, the non-traditional stuff is going to come from the dynamic team selections. I'm really interested to see what we see. Like you said earlier, Scott, I think a lot of tier 8 teams are going to be in play. I think there's going to be plenty of radar available. People are going to think, just like clan battles, are going to be looking for ships that bring additional resources and capabilities that are going to support clan battle style play, but just on such a small scale, you know.
Yeah, if I had done more prep, I probably would have knocked out a couple of rosters and been like, "Yeah, these are the kind of these are
the things we might have brought."
This is a good comp that I'd put together, but I didn't. I might sit here and do that anyway, though, while you chatter. But looking at some of these maps and some of the choice, Solomon Islands is I like that as a low tier map. It's kind of
let me pull that one up here.
But that's a map where it's like, nope, you're either fighting on those points or you're never seeing each other because you can't lob over those islands really.
One of the battles I watched last night was one that featured a friend of the stream, Frost Knight, and he was in a Chapayev trying to defend B with, I think, Bismarck against a Pommern, and there was a Congress. Both teams brought Congress, which I thought was a solid pick. Although it does have long fires, it's got radar, it's got great guns, and the Congresses were at a stalemate around Bravo. Frost and his team managed to take away the win there, but it was tenuous for a minute. They lost the early ship.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of ship combinations we see, and while we do this evening, if it starts to become apparent that certain ships are just always going to be in every comp.
Yeah.
There's so many ships that you could take when you have a tournament that spans every tier.
Pretty much, yeah.
Exciting to see how that plays out, I think, and what kind of builds teams have. So.
We are having a couple more players wander into the training room. We've got 4 of the 8 players required to get the battle started. Now, of course, there could be the possibility of a false start if the room is misconfigured, or if one of the players, or if one of the teams brings an illegal team composition, for example. That is possible. But the suspicion, of course, and what I've seen so far is it's been pretty reliable. The teams have been doing a really good job of bringing together and configuring the rooms. It's not too complicated, but there are a few settings you've got to get right. Another interesting thing about the teaming aspect in this tournament is you're only allowed to bring 1 ship from each nation. So there's no bringing a full-on 4 German ship team or a full-on 4 American ship team. You just can't do it. You've got to pick your favorite American ship. So there's enough rules here that it makes it really tricky and really strategic what the players are going to be bringing into these matches. So I'm kind of interested in that single ship per nation rule. I feel like there may be some added complexity there that doesn't necessarily affect the outcome because of the talent of the players, but I don't know. Are there countries where you'd be wanting to take multiple ships? I bet you the answer has to be yes.
Well, sure. I mean, if anybody who plays World of Warships knows, you probably could build an all-Russian lineup that would be overpowered. Sure. But to that end, even German ships tend to all have hydros, which are probably going to be valuable in a thing like this. We talked about radar, but just having hydro as well on these smaller maps, having your 5.5 kilometer hydros that are available on some ships, that lasts for a couple minutes as opposed to a shorter period of time on these small maps. That's strong. And I think there's ways you can work around that. If you really like the way a certain nation plays, there's probably one of the other weird nations that has a premium that's stolen from that nation. I really like American light cruisers, but we already have an American battleship, so I'm going to take a Pan-Asian cruiser, right? You could see, you could maybe
there's ways to kind of get around that in some cases.
Yeah.
And I think you're not wrong about all of the tier 8, I think, ships are going to be a pretty popular build, right? We're going to see a lot of tier 8s, thinking about ships that are borrowed from one nation and in another. Ships like Talon, right? Not only does it have the reasonably durable hipper hull, but it brings that radar to bear, as well as those decent guns. Ships like that are going to be great. Maybe you can't bring a Talon because somebody's bringing in I don't know if it's banned or not, but like Kremlin, or not Kremlin. What's the tier 8 one? The Lenin.
It's not on the ban list that I saw.
Okay, so maybe you can bring a Lenin, right? So if you've got a Lenin rolling in and you like the hip or the Talon, you might be able to go with Prince Eugen or something like that instead. Although those are both premiums, they're going to have that premium. It's a premium. You pay a premium to play a premium because they cost an extra point each.
Yeah, I'll recap that really quick. That ban list, just so folks are aware. It's you can't bring tier 10 premiums or tier 10 specials. You can't bring You can't bring super ships or tier 11s. You can't bring Tone, Issei, or Kearsarge. You can't bring Belfast. You can't bring Paolo Emilio. And if a tech tree line of ships has not been made available for silver in its entirety up to tier 10, then all of the line may not be used. So in this case, during this tournament, you're not allowed to play any of those new British battle cruisers that are currently in early access.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that part in the rules. That's good. That's a good clarification.
Yeah, some of those new British battle cruisers are great, and so like that's kind of a bummer. Won't get to see like a Rook or a Hawk out there, but it's what it is.
Well, it looks like we've got all 8 players. They're all ready. As soon as they hit the battle button, we're going to switch over to our combat interface and go to that. You'll lose my mug. You won't see me anymore, but we'll get into calling the action. Scott and I are ready and in our spectator spots. It's just a matter of making sure the teams are all set. They're doing their confirmations right now. Remember, we're going to be going to play the domination 4 capture points version of Ring, and I hope we have a great battle here. This is it, guys. We're doing casting. Oh my goodness. What the heck is this? Looks like the teams are ready. And we are ready over here. That is it. Let's go into our match interface. Good luck and have fun, everyone. This is it. We have the WTFS team versus the ZPM team. Now, not all of these teams are clans, but some of them might be. I'm going to go ahead and get into the battle here. And we have our fly around interface here. The red team is populated by a Borodino, Russian battleship with radar, Akatsuki, Prinz Eugen, and Fiji. Scott, what do you want to run over the green team for us?
Green team is Synop, an A-Gear, a Congress, and a Minakaze.
Oh, that Minakaze is a very interesting selection for what we've got here. Like you said earlier, Fujin, those low tier 5 destroyers, extremely low detectability. Now, these first couple of minutes of the battle are going to be very, very critical and very interesting. What I noticed last night is what we're seeing here again. One ship set apart from the rest with 3 ships on one side. In this case, the Fiji facing off against Congress. And on the other side, of course, Synop with A-Gear and Minakaze as a little three-pack. And across the way, Akatsuki, Prinz Eugen, and Borodino. Eugen does have a heal, as does Congress, so we've got cruisers that can heal. So does Riga, and so does Fiji. Every single cruiser in this battle is a healing cruiser.
That's a good point. And remember that Borodino radar, if memory serves, is a 12-kilometer radar. I believe that's a 12 km Russian-style radar.
I agree. I think so.
A-Gear's got strong hydros. Congress has a 10-kilometer American radar, if I remember right, along with hydros if equipped, which I'm sure they are.
Battleships are already exchanging fire. Synop and Borodino taking shots. Borodino responding against A-Gear. Continue, please.
Looks like Synop landed a decent little hit there on that Borodino as well.
Eugen's taking a small amount of damage too.
A-Gear's opened up on the Borodino also.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep a close eye on this Akatsuki here. He's got some torpedoes launched that appear to be going over towards A-Gear. I don't know if he's quite got the range for them, but probably he does. I think the island is going to cause a shadow that's going to let A-Gear avoid those. Big shots coming from Prinz Eugen. Eugen's got a broadside exposed to the Synop, but Synop is presently distracted by what's going on with Borodino. Borodino taking shots from 2 different angles. Lots of torpedoes out there. A-Cat just filling the cap, trying to make it an unpleasant place to be for the Team Green. And it looks as though A-Gear is going to dodge those torpedoes with ease. No hits for Akatsuki's first torpedo salvo. Congress has found a place to park here up against the island in Charlie. He's got the radar running. We can see the green sensor pulse right there, which means the green team knows where Fiji is, but there's not much they can do about it at the moment. Fiji's going to go ahead and scoop up the alpha cap without much contest.
Yeah, Fiji and Congress started off on that side together just as a matter of how starting slots work when you only dump 4 players into a map like this, right? And so Congress broke in and headed towards his team. They're kind of sticking together. Fiji immediately darted down there and now has just capped Alpha.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
that
Two
gives
different
Red
strategies.
Team, yeah, that gives Red Team that points hump, right? That pushed them up on a points lead there.
Yeah, they're 4 points ahead of the green team right now. Both teams being pretty cautious with the damage. You know, neither one has taken a lot of damage. Although, honestly, if we take a look at Borodino, he's looking a little bit unhealthy. Borodino's radar has been fired up, which means they've got spots on A-Gear, I guess? Maybe? Actually, I don't know. I feel like that's going to be an ineffectual radar, probably a usage that isn't going to get them much information. Akatsuki's coming into the middle of the ring. This map's so named for this ring of islands in the center. A-Gear is pushing up here, using the island as a defensive shield. However, he's going to take a big shot at this Prince Eugen. I think this could be dangerous if he can get his guns rotated. Nope, he's fixated on Akatsuki. Secondaries firing off for the Eugen, but Eugen takes a shot at A-Gear. Misses, it looks like. Not much damage there.
Yeah, A-Gear's a tanky ship. It's an interesting choice to run that as, you know, they spent their points on that tier 9 heavy cruiser, right? And, you know, they went with a sign-up instead of the battleship. So kind of an interesting configuration there.
Yeah, agreed. It looks like, I mean, A-Gear is probably the heaviest ship that's in play here. This battle is 6 minutes left on the clock. I mean, we're 4 minutes in. Compared to the battles I saw last night, we have very cautious play happening here. And the scores are reflecting that. Just 20 points apart. I think I misspoke earlier when I said 4 points apart. Just 20 points apart on this. And no real sign of which way the scales are going to tip at the moment. Borodino's not being aggressive. Look at this. In fact, pointing his bow away from the action. The only main battery guns on this ship are on the front. So he's going to have to bring it around in order to get a shot there. Akatsuki's patrolling, keeping eyes on what's going on at Delta. But unfortunately for a red team, not much that Borodino can get shots on. Borodino's got great guns, but he's got to have targets to put them into work. To put them to work, I should say.
Yeah, A-Gear just moments ago dodged some torps that looked like they came in from the Fiji. And everybody kind of moved back to their respective islands. Fiji is working on Cap and Charlie now and converting that over, and that would give Red 3 cap advantage, which I think would be pretty powerful with 5 minutes left.
Yeah, limited time left, and even if he doesn't complete the cap, this is where those extra points came from. Maybe I was correct before, maybe I was incorrect, but either way, Fiji is making a play here. Now, A-Gear's guns definitely can shred a Fiji if he can get around the island and get his guns pointed at that guy. I don't think it matters what angle Fiji's at. I think the overmatch would work just fine there, although I haven't done the math. Fiji's smoking up, and he's going to take some shots at a broadside A-Gear. Let's see how the tier 7 handles. Look at that. Takes little chunks out of Frosty there. Shots coming back. Fiji's losing a little bit, but at the end of the day, what's happening here is Team Green is losing as the points move up for the red team. Prince Eugen's holding the center there and looking to support the kill on A-Gear. This could be a push that changes the ship count for the first time in this match.
Yeah, it's a tight space that A-Gear finds himself in right now, unfortunately getting worked on by 2 of them at the same time. In the meantime, you've got Sign-Up and Minakaze off fighting Borodino and CotC on the other side of the map, and it's kind of turned into 2 different 2v2s.
It really has. And honestly, if I was the Minakaze in this situation, I'd be wanting to push in and get a little bit closer. Right, I think Minakaze's concealment is really good, although I understand he's afraid of the Borodino's radar. That's a resource that he's going to have to contend with. But Lord Vicious, pilot of that Minakaze, is going to need to get in and make something happen on that side. Borodino, honestly, him and Sign-Up are both pretty beat up at this point. Both of them about 2/3 dead, with the A-Gear over here scrapping with 2 cruisers, both of which are pretty capable of putting. Go ahead. Oh no! Sign-Up takes one?
He took one. He managed to dodge the others. He's cooking off a heel now.
Yeah, I see that.
And he took a salvo from Borodino that it looks like he managed to bounce both of. That looked disastrous for a moment.
That was terrifying. I'm glad you called it out. Well done, sir. A-Gear's turning around the fight on Prince Eugen as well, though. Look at this. We're kind of having a couple of bits get flipped in this battle. Check this business.
Yep, Congress pushed out and took a nice shot into Eugen and then dipped behind that island, and it now looks like A-Gear and Congress have traded which ones they're fighting between Eugen and Fiji at this point.
Yeah.
They're desperately trying to make something happen. And there's our first kill.
There goes our first kill. Well done. Yeah, excellent job by the green team. I was thinking that was a red team advantage over there, but Congress, like you said, pulled off that shot, and that just about changed it.
Congress with another strong shot right down the bow of the Fiji. Those Alaska-sized guns do hurt.
Yeah, 305s on the Congress. I think it's 6 guns forward. Am I right? Gotta zoom in.
I believe it's 5.
Yep, 2 and that's right, 2 and 3. So 5 total because the Congress's funky gun configuration. Fiji's trying to push in. I think we may see some torpedoes get loosed here as Fiji tries to make something happen as things are going poorly for the little cruiser. We've also lost Eugen, by the way.
Aegir smartly chucked torps there to go in between those two.
That actually was really wise. Good play by Aegir. It didn't pan out, but it could have been the difference. Fiji's trying to put shots into the bow of Congress. Fiji's taking shots from the left side.
Can Fiji get his torps off? This is a bold strategy, Clyde. Let's see if it pays off.
Yes, it is, and I think it might. Fiji goes down, but check this noise. Oh, just one!
Oh, just one. Smooth on the Congress. Smooth torp work.
Well done, Congress. Well done. Oh, my goodness. 3 ships to 1. Borodino, the last red team player standing. And unfortunately, I think that is probably going to be it. 560 points for Team Green, 495 for Red. We'll have to see how Borodino can do here. It would take a pretty special turn of events for him to be able to bring down 3 ships in the time remaining, just 1 minute and 6 seconds. I don't think that's possible.
It's possible, but probably not probable.
Well, I think he's only got 3 salvos left. Well, now he's down to 2 salvos if he hasn't pulled the trigger yet, right? 30-second reload, 32-second reload, whatever it is. Spicy. I thought we might lose Aegir. I thought Borodino might make that happen. Let's see what happens here. Here comes some tier 5 torpedoes out of Borodino. Anybody ever wonder what would happen there?
8,000 hit points. Yeah.
Oh, it didn't reach. It didn't reach. But he's going to take an Aegir torpedo.
Oh, he caught a torp. What a fun
And that is it. WTFS takes the win. Well done, Team Green. Wow. Any takeaways from that, Scott? A really tactical game to start with, but then very explosive at the end.
Yeah, that's that 10-minute clock, right? This tournament's got that flavor that it's going to force the action by hell or high water. You're going to have to engage, and somebody's going to have to win.
Absolutely. And it seems like that's exactly what happened. I'm going to pop out of our training room here. We're back in the discussion studio here. Let me find our next match, and we'll go get connected with those guys. Great battle between WTFS and ZPM, with WTFS taking the victory there. Team Green. Yeah, Congress's shot against that Eugen was critical. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Strong shot. I was going to say, one thing we didn't point out, too, WTFS, that's What the Flock Streaming. I believe that's Sid Kitten's home clan.
That is interesting to know. Sif Kitten, one of the other casters for the tournament, so well done for her team over there. Obviously, she's casting and not playing in the team or in the tournament, at least not in that match. I'm going to go try to find our next room. It looks like it's being set up here, so we'll track that down as soon as I know what map it's going to be. Let me go message that player. Then we'll jump in there. Great battle, man. Woo.
Great battle. Definitely some fun compositions. Exciting to see. I thought that was neat on the team to see Aegir used as their big point buy and then spend less on your battleship. But then your battleship is still a big, gnarly Russian battleship, right? So interesting strategy put into play there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the sign up, like you said, it's a big, gnarly Russian battleship. It stands up to fire better than it should be able to. What an exciting, what a great choice, and what a great way that they used it. I think that sign up actually held its own against a Borodino, an up-tiered premium battleship, really, really well.
Yeah, not to knock the ship selections that they fought against, too. Borodino is such a weird ship. You don't see Borodino a lot in the real world as a premium, but it's an interesting ship because, you've got a few Tier 8 battleships that exist now between Borodino and Constellation that have radar, and we may see Constellation as well, too.
Yeah, I bet you we will before it's over.
With radar and torpedoes and the weird stuff that Constellation has. You never know.
Alrighty. The room has changed, Skada. I'm going to send you the name of the creator.
Roger.
I just searched for the second word there, came right up.
Okay, thanks.
No worries. Let me get into the room here. It looks like our next map is going to be Trident. I really like Trident. This is a map that I feel like we've been seeing a lot in clan battles lately, and I found it to be a pretty fun map for just all the islands and the tactics that are available with it. If we take a look, we're doing the 3-cap domination style, and your eyes do not deceive you. That central cap is a little bit smaller than the outside ones, or at least it was on the artwork I found. I had to draw these caps myself, but the island there straddling the Bravo and Alpha caps is I like to call that Big Potato Island, and it winds up being a place where you'll have radar and acoustic ships parking on the north and southern sides of that and trying to do their best to stiff arm enemy ships away with sensors, whereas the Charlie cap has a little bit more open water. There's some fast running destroyers or longer range battleships spend some time over at Charlie and can make some big plays over there. Scotta, where do you think we might see ships pulling up in order to resist, defend or take these caps?
Obvious choices in Charlie, the 2 islands there. We played Trident a fair amount in competitive clan battle seasons the last couple of seasons, and Charlie's a place where you can stick a destroyer or a cruiser in on those islands inside of Charlie and get some protection. Obviously, as you pointed out, Big Potato Island. Big Potato Island gives interesting approaches to Alpha, especially with those other islands that list away. I think the North spawn has a little bit better protection from a couple of those islands, but the larger one on the South spawn is really key. And that channel that gets created on Trident in the A cap between the island that's in the south eastern quadrant and Big Potato Island, that's a real tight
it's a real hot spot, isn't it?
It's a real hot spot. Recently
Yeah.
we played a random on this match, and where I remember playing in T61 and having a lot of hot plays shooting through that gap, trying to get back over to Bravo to finish a fight. So I think there's some interesting alleys and vision lines that are created in Alpha, and I think there's some interesting ones in Charlie. Bravo tends to be a place where people go to die on this map, so we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly that Bravo is a dangerous place to be located in Trident, certainly early game. That tends to be the last cap that's captured. You mentioned a little bit about some of the dangers of going between Big Potato Island and the island to the south of that on Alpha side. One of the things that we'll also see is a flanker go up that 1 or 2 column outside those islands to get shots into the censorship or the battleship that's really stuck in on the north edge of that large potato island between Alpha Bravo. We may see something that runs up there if they can get a ship that's fast enough, right? Maybe a fast destroyer, something like a Le Fantasque or something like that could do it. What's the premium version of that ship? The Le Terrible? We could... Terrible. Terrible. We may see somebody like that run up there to try to cause the ship that's stuck in there, that's really holding the enemy out or your team out, to dislodge that ship. Charlie, of course, with that island in the 9 column, on a tier 10 battle, you might see a radar ship run up over there and use that as a shield from the northern side. But again, it's going to take some speed to get there unnoticed. So, I'm not quite sure how much speed we're going to have. And with the variability in tiers, it could be really challenging for teams to set up those tier 10 plans that we see in clan battles on Trident. So, here's hoping the teams have ships and plans that are going to work well for that.
Yeah, 4 ships really cuts it down, and what you saw in the last match is going to persist here, right? When you get your spawn starting positions, you're going to have 3 ships near each other and 1 that's in the next spawn, right? So you could end up in a really odd situation where maybe you want to employ a strategy where you send a fast flanker up the 1 line, but that fast flanker spawns too far away to make that realistic. And so you're going to have to be dynamic, I think, in how you play this. And I'm sure all these teams are on Discord or TeamSpeak, or they're plain old telephone or whatever they use, and I'm assuming, because of the size of the teams, I think it leads to a lot more dynamic play than maybe you'd see in normal 7v7 clans, where you kind of have a set idea of where you're going to have your ship start at.
Well, and I would imagine that some of the clans here, and I'm going to say they're try-hard clan, or not clans, but teams. Some of these might be, I'm going to call them try-hard teams, but please don't take that in any sort of negative way. I just mean teams that are really focused on maybe taking a look at winning this tournament and going for some of the top prizes. They might have gotten into a training room last night, last week, 2 weeks ago, and seen, hey, if we take this ship comp, does it always spawn in the same location? What about if we take this ship comp? How can I know what ships are going to pop up where? And if that becomes predictable, that could allow them to kind of get some strategies about what ships to take. I don't know that I would necessarily want to change my ship composition based solely on that, especially if you've got a player who's really comfortable, really capable in a particular ship, but that could be a factor into how they want to handle it, because teams who didn't do that beforehand, they're going to pop in and be like, oh crap, I'm on the wrong side. Now we have to react and come up with a new strategy or a new thought, or we have to just come up with a plan off the cuff, which could, reduce the effectiveness of that team. That said, with a 4v4, it's always going to be a little bit dynamic, so hopefully we can find a way to or each team can find a way to put some adequate force out there to resist the others and so on. We're getting a few folks coming into the room. We've got 3 of our 8 players here. This game is scheduled to start in about 10 minutes, but I don't think there's any rule against going early if everyone's ready. So don't walk away from your computers or your phones or what have you just yet.
Walk away from your phones.
I suppose you could take
just
that
take it with you. Just take it with you.
I suppose you could just take that with you. You could watch this in the bathroom. Not that I think you should, but you could. We are planning to cover 5 games today. We may get a 6th. And so hopefully you're enjoying your coverage of the Clash of the Classes tournament here on the NA servers on Clyde Plays Live. Oh, casting. This is silly. Are you having fun? I'm having fun.
Yeah, it's, I didn't have anything else going on tonight, so.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's working out pretty good. Hang on, I got pinged here in this Discord. Announcements.
I hope somebody pinged that said these guys are the worst.
These guys called my match, and they were really mean about my Borodino. No, I don't think that we were mean about Borodino. I actually kind of like Borodino. I kind of wish it got more play. I think it's an interesting ship, but it is a little wacky.
Well, maybe that's a ship sometime that you'll give away as a prize on the stream.
That's a possibility. I think it's
randomly
still purchasable.
Hey, just gonna give away a Borodino in November. I don't know.
Like
why.
just pick a day, no reason. We log in, we stream for 15 minutes. Give away Borodino.
Yeah, I like the idea, completely unrelated to Clash of the Clans, but since we're here and we have a little time to fill, I love the idea of doing ship giveaways where we base it on sorting WoW's numbers by premiums and the lowest number played.
We just give away the games
like,
that aren't, or the ships
we're
that aren't
giving
played.
away this week. We're giving away a Mysore. We're giving away an FR-25. We're giving. I really like that idea. Just
we gotta boost the population.
We just want to see more matches in Cheshire.
That's right. That's right.
Put that out there. People are like, well, thanks, I'm going to put it in my port and never play it. And then we
Cheshire.
No.
Yeah, I got arrested for selling a guy a boat. Twas a cat. The Cheshire cat. Yeah, I don't know about that. Alan Source Rex just said "Whoa, Clyde" in chat, but it was 3 minutes ago, so I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm not looking at any of that stuff because it's of. If you want to interact with Scotta in real time, check out the Discord. Clyde Plays Discord.
That's right. Just for anybody who's joining us kind of midstream, we are operating with a bit of a delay tonight because we are casting the Clash of the Classes tournament. Briefly, I've got the list of what is Clash of the Classes up there. This is just some of the highest level information about the tournament. It is a 4 versus 4 tournament where you use a point buy system to select your ships. You get 41 points, and you're able to buy ships that cost anywhere from 6 to 18 points depending on tier and premium status. Certain ships are banned, submarines, hybrid ships, certain premiums, and I think and aircraft carriers as well. Ships can be pretty much any tier. I said tiers 5 through 10, but you are not denied for bringing a tier 2, 3, or 4 ship into the game. That is up to you, but I don't know that it's wise. Each team is composed of a single battleship, 2 cruisers, and 1 destroyer. The tournament is hosted by the YOLO and Kraken community, I believe, and largely put together and organized by player Hold My Beer on the North American servers. Beer is a he's just a really amazing dude who's putting on all of this for, all of these players. I was talking to you before the game started, or the match and streams started, Scada, and I think we have something like 30 or 40 teams. Each one has between 4 and 6 players on it, plus there's casters and all of the viewers at home. There are literally hundreds of people who are engaged in some part of this tournament, and Beer is the one who's making it all happen. So if you guys happen to see Hold My Beer out there, say, hey, thanks for running the tournament, and we are all good to go. Oh, the teams look like they're ready. I hope they haven't been ready for a long time. But,
yeah, they've been chatting over there, and you've just been ignoring them.
Geez, that sounds like me.
No, it looks like we're going to get this match going a little bit early, which is fine by us.
Yeah, I mean, it might mean that we get an extra battle at the end. As soon as the teams, we have all 4 in here, they're all readied up. As soon as they hit go, we're going to switch over to our battle view, and we'll get into this match. And here it is, guys. Let's go over to the match. Oh, I didn't change the names. What are these teams called?
YETI and SAMPS.
And I will fix the other one. Sorry, this is something I should have been doing. SAMPS. There we go. YETI versus SAMPS. YETI is going to be team green. SAMPS is team red. Let's get in there. I will call out the green team configuration. Now, interestingly, look at this. All 4 ships are together. We did not predict this. Team green is bringing a COTC and a Brutzi, a Miyoko, and a Massachusetts Bravo. Scott, what do we have over in the red camp? SAMPS.
On the red team, Bismarck, Baltimore, Cherbourg, and Fujin.
Ooh, Fujin. You were hoping for a Fujin tonight, and now we have one.
Fujin's one of my favorite boats, so excited to see how it performs.
All right, just 3 seconds before the action begins. We're going to have to watch and see how these early deployments of the ships work out. I'm suspecting a push for A and C. Like we said earlier, B is a dangerous place where ships go to die. If you can make B happen early, great. But it could be a place where you just go to sacrifice hit points. We're seeing an early turn by the SAMPS team towards Alpha. Both cruisers and Fujin turning to the left, and now Bismarck following suit. Let's go over and check out the early initial deployments from Bravo team. Miyoko pushing out for Charlie, with COTC moving directly forward for B, and Abruzzi moving for A. That is a trident-shaped formation for Team Green.
Yeah, Fujin and Cherbourg, when they made that turn to A, they both hit their speed boosts. They are.
Oh, did they?
Cherbourg is a fast ship. Fujin isn't slow really either for a Tier 5 destroyer. They are both in a hurry to get to Alpha.
Yeah, they are looking to get. They have positions that they know about that they want to go pick up, don't they? Fantastic. Hold My Beer, welcome to chat. I see you there. You're going to get this in 3 minutes, but thanks, buddy. I'm giving you all the credit. I'll have to credit the COTC team later as well.
Over on the Yetis, I was going to say, over on the YETI side, Miyoko making a hard beeline push out towards the 1 line.
Yeah, Miyoko's making this push.
Line, sorry, 10 line.
Yeah. And the reason why this push is so wide is Miyoko's trying to avoid getting spotted. This is a classic Clan Battles push. What we're going to see Miyoko do is follow my camera. We're going to fly out like this, and he's going to cut over probably towards this outer island, is my prediction. Now, he may come in towards the inner island once they get spots on the enemy team and he realizes he does not need to go quite so wide. That is likely to be what happens. We're going to see an uncontested cap of Charlie, most likely by Miyoko, unless he gets spotted and blapped by Baltimore and Bismarck. COTC is taking B, relatively untouched. Now, COTC, remember, has acoustics on board. Great for spotting torps.
COTC's acoustics are active. Also, Cherbourg's acoustics are active, and I'm pretty sure Baltimore lit his off as well.
There you go. Now, Scotto, do you remember Abruzzi is one that has torpedoes? Let me come in closer on this guy. Yes. I think I see.
Abruzzi,
yep, torpedo launchers on the Abruzzi.
Abruzzi's torps reach pretty long. I want to say like 10, 12 in that ballpark. And Abruzzi's guns don't reach too far, but I believe Abruzzi can be equipped with a spotter.
That could be. I think it is kind of a mid-range cruiser there for sure. Abruzzi's coming around here. Nice wide. We talked about that wide push, that flanking cruiser push, and that is exactly what Abruzzi is engaging in. Team Red is barreling in. They're putting themselves forward and aggressively. We'll see if it pays off. This could be a very dangerous maneuver. First battleship shots come in for Cherbourg, who turned in and is going to dodge most of those shells, but Abruzzi's bringing the HE from the other side. We've got a fire, it looks like, on Cherbourg, which probably he will let burn for a short period of time. And look at this. He's trying to get a second fire on Baltimore. Good play by Abruzzi, who's splitting that fire in order to get 2 damage overtime things rolling at the same time. 2 dots. Miyoko is just wrapping up the cap on Charlie. Baltimore is, or I'm sorry, Massachusetts here, Massachusetts B, is keeping shots on the Baltimore. Baltimore's in a tight spot and is going to have a hard time escaping that location. Scotto, what do you think his chances of survival are at this point?
Not great, Clyde. He's up against the edge of an island there with 3 ships or 4 ships shooting at him. I think the Miyoko even took some pot shots before it moved over there. That's a tough position to be in, and that's their primary sensor platform. Boy, he's taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's a risky shot. Massachusetts just slapping him big, a big bow pen there with a large AP salvo. And COTC knows what the big threat is. He knows it's that radar cruiser, and so they're putting HE all over that Baltimore player. If they can knock that player out, it gives COTC free reign of the map for basically the rest of this battle. Abruzzi is doing exactly what Abruzzi needs to be doing. They're on the side, they're peppering people with shots, they're doing that thing where the cruiser is the second or third most interesting target for their enemies. In fact, Abruzzi is not even interesting. They're just ignoring him way out there on the flank, and all of his damage is free.
Abruzzi's spotter plane is up, and it's doing what Abruzzi does. Another thing to point out about Abruzzi is Abruzzi has a heal at tier 7 for a cruiser, which is less common.
Sorry, I'm apologizing. The Clash of the Clans team is here, and Holdline Beer says, there's like 15 of us. It's not just me. And that's true, so we'll have to correct that poster when we come back.
Cherbourg going for the ram.
I see that. We got to get in close, and it's a successful ram. Goodbye, Massachusetts. Hello. 3-2 ships. That was kind of a weird thing to say, but I did it. That's what I said. Bismarck is under fire from Abruzzi. That was a good ram for Team Red, I think. I don't know. They're down to 2 ships. Maybe not.
Yeah, Bismarck's going to get farmed down now by 3 guys spamming a lot of HE at him.
Yeah, I agree.
That's rough. That's a rough situation to be in right there.
Yeah, I think Bismarck is literally in the center of this 3-ship triangle. It's not going to go well. Fujin's invisible, most likely at the moment, so although he's rather close to the Abruzzi. We're going to see the torpedoes from Fujin come in. Abruzzi just hit sensors. That's acoustics from Abruzzi. Yep. So he's watching those torps. He knows they're there. He should be able to avoid them with ease unless he just chooses to take a torpedo today. The expectation is, of course, that Abruzzi will be just fine, but he won't spot the Fujin because of that ship's low detect.
Yeah, Abruzzi hydros have a 3-kilometer detect range for torps, right? Fujin torps are fast, but 3 kilometers is enough to get out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's plenty to dodge torps, like you say. Miyoko is going to be in a tight spot here. It looks like the secondaries from Bismarck are going to clean him up, and it might even be he might even get finished off by guns from the Fujin, which would be comical. Although 2,000 hit points. Oh, here they come. Fujin guns fired against Miyoko. Down to 675 hit points. It's a long 8, 9, 10-second reload on Fujin, and there it is. Bismarck's secondaries clean him up, but that exposes him to Abruzzi fire. The smoke goes up to keep him out of sight.
Cossack torps are on their way to Bismarck. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to... Looks like he might be able to get out of their way, but he's getting farmed now, and they're keeping him on fire.
Yeah, Bismarck's in big trouble. Team Red has a...
Oh.
Gosh, Team Red is...
Dodge those Cossack torps.
Is really struggling. Oh, look at that. Good job on the Bismarck player's point. Must be using acoustics. I didn't see him pop them, but it doesn't mean they weren't active. Could just be a good driver, too. Fujin's coming over here, blocking the green cap at Bravo.
Bismarck's cooking off a heel, but he just can't get those fires out.
Yeah, he is healing, but like just burning away as he heals. That's a rough thing to be happening. It's very common. German battleships know what I'm talking about. They've experienced this. You've experienced this at home. It's just a really rough thing when you're in that crossfire and there's nothing you can do. And then when the ships are secondaries from a Massachusetts, HEs from an Abruzzi, and HEs from a Cossack, it's just a really rough position.
And there he goes down to the fires. Once the heal finished, he just kept burning.
Yep. Now, Abruzzi doesn't need to push in. He just needs to make sure they keep a 1 cap to the Reds, 2 cap for Greens. And Fujin's probably going to push for Charlie, but I think it's going to be an ineffectual push at this point. It shouldn't change the game. And I suspect CotC is going to come in to meet him.
Yeah, CotC's going to come up there and make sure he blocks Charlie. And then he's looking for that engagement, right? You're in a tier 8 powerful premium gunboat.
He wants to fight a Fujin, doesn't he?
Fujin's great, but Fujin's not going to... that's a fight you don't want to take.
I am fixing the poster right now for Hold My Beer. Because that's what he wants me to do. So give me just 1 second. Now that should have fixed it. Team Alpha is the winner, Alpha being YETI. Congratulations to YETI. SAMPS, it was a heck of a fight. The aggressive push turned out to not be the best push, but we did have some explosive action. I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Let's get back to the studio here, where we can see that I fixed the poster, I hope. Oh, hang on, I gotta push the right button. Where I fixed the poster, I hope. Look at that. Posted by the COTC team. Fixed. There we go. You guys will see that in a few minutes. GG all. Well, that is it for YETI and SAMPS. YETI taking the victory. Well done, YETI. Big push by the YETI team, man. Or I'm sorry, by the SAMPS team.
By the SAMPS team, that unfortunate position that Baltimore found himself in, that just kind of was the tail of the tape on that one. That made it hard to recover from.
Yeah, it was. That's one of those things that it's a big gamble when you do that. Sometimes it's kind of a flip of a coin, and you'll take that risk. And if it pays off, if you can roll in and get 2 kills, you can really continue to push on and take the game. But I always find that it's such a gamble, because if it goes poorly, it goes very poorly, and you've lost the game on a coin flip rather than on a careful tactical play. And it looked like YETI's slow approach, getting those crossfires, setting up in a very traditional clan battle style approach, won the day, at least in this battle. Maybe in another day, SAMPS could have pushed through and claimed the life of that Massachusetts a little faster. Perhaps if the Baltimore wasn't leading the charge, right? If Baltimore was behind, we had a battleship and the Cherbourg rolling in first, we could have done a little bit better work and had a better attempt at knocking out some of those critical ships that would have allowed Baltimore to continue to use that radar further into the match.
Yeah, and that's interesting about the composition you had with the winning team there with YETI too. They didn't take a radar cruiser, right? Everybody had hydros.
Yeah, that's true.
But they didn't take a radar cruiser. So that allowed that gives you some freedom of play as well. We know in competitive, when you play a radar cruiser, you feel compelled to be in a place where you can radar caps. But if you don't have that burden, you can go and do those wide plays like that. It was a hell of a maneuver, taking those 2 cruisers out wide like that, and then being able to bring fire back into the middle while their Massachusetts was going to hold down the fort, right? And it really seemed like the plan there was have the Massachusetts hold down the fort while the 3 other ships lit everybody else on fire all the time forever.
I mean, that's exactly what we saw happen. I mean, you're saying exactly what I think, because that attempt or that ship was anchored in, it was bow in, and it was slinging AP at those ships, and the SAMPS team couldn't. They were just fixated on that ship. We talked about how Abruzzi was just sitting us off on the side, perfectly comfortable, perfectly happy, and basically untouched for the majority of the battle. And it was just because of that fixation on dealing with Massachusetts and maybe COTC to a certain degree as well. Just a tough
that's one
of
those. That's one of those ones when you're in that situation where you make that call where you're like, we just have to ignore that cruiser. Like, we have to. We're trying to focus on something that's right in front of us, right? And then ultimately, there's only so much you can do.
Well, and I can certainly speak to being in that position in a clan battle where you're like, I just need to finish burning this guy down. I just need to finish burning this guy down. Can we just kill this guy? And you just can't get it done fast enough. And you know that as you're being too slow, your team's getting murdered on the other side of the map, right? And just that need to finish that kill and not being able to affect the change that you need in the battle fast enough can be really frustrating. And I'm imagining that the SAMPS players probably felt some of that in that moment. We do have our next battle is going to be between 2 Mars and CANUCK. It's scheduled to start at 5:50 p.m. Pacific time. That's 8:50 p.m. Eastern. And I'm going to be reaching out to the team leader there to get things going. Make sure they're setting up their room. In fact, I'll just go check to see if it's available. Let's see, search. There we go. I think they are ready. I'm gonna pop in and see. Oh, no, these guys are in a battle right now. So I'm going to leave their training battle. They're already in it. I was a little bit ahead of myself. They're still playing their previous one. I don't know what map our next battle is on, but let me see if I can find out. Scott, have I lost you, or are you just in thought?
No, I was just being awkward.
No, that's cool. I can handle it, but
you're so used to talking to yourself for 3-4 hours a stream. It's you know,
it's true. I did find out what our next map is going to be, though. Solomon Islands.
What do you think, before we talk about that, what do you think about the ships we have seen played in these last 2 matches so far? Anything you were surprised about?
You know, that's a great topic. I was a little surprised by Abruzzi, honestly. That's a kind of a deep cut. Doesn't bring any radar. It's not really like Napoli in any way, at least in most of the large ways. I think Abruzzi I think it's a light cruiser, isn't it? Let me pull it up here. I have it in my port. Yeah, that was my biggest surprise from the last one. And honestly, Miyoko as well. I think Miyoko is a strong pick, but I think there's probably stronger. You know, I guess I mean Miyoko's maybe acceptable, but I think you could find a better ship. Although the 203s, it's great HE Alpha, but the range is so short that you might find yourself in a situation where you're being outranged by especially by higher tier ships that you might face. Abruzzi is 152 millimeter guns, and Abruzzi's range is 15.1 kilometers, at least without a captain and everything, totally base. I don't think you can extend that with a captain. So she's a pretty basic little ship there. I guess I can show a picture of it here. Got her here on the board. Good looking ship, but definitely not my first thought when I think of competitive ships. Though YETI may work.
You know, something to be said too, you know, if you're setting out to pick those ships when they decided on Massachusetts and COSAC, right? That's 24 of their points. And so what you're looking then, what are your, you know, you're going down the line, right? And so maybe Miyoko was there because they really like Miyoko. Maybe Miyoko was there because
it was 8 points.
Because it was 8 points and that's what they had, because Abruzzi cost 9, right? So they had an 8-point option. They could either take a tier 6 or a tier 7 tech tree cruiser, or they could take a tier 6 premium cruiser.
So say you're in that situation. Say you've got 8 points. What tier 7 tech tree cruiser are you taking? You know, like maybe
let's see. So it couldn't be Italian.
We saw in the first.
It couldn't be Italian, American, or British because those concerns were always already represented.
Right. British. Yeah, that's why they didn't take Fiji, isn't it?
Right. So you couldn't take Fiji then. So, you know,
Helena?
taking the Jap, you couldn't because they had Massachusetts.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you said American.
Yeah, you couldn't take American, Italian, or British at that point, right? I like Algerie quite a bit. I like it better than Miyoko personally. It's gonna move over to that flank quicker. Less guns, but I just like Algerie better. Similar hydros, speed boost, main battery reload booster, if I remember right, starts there too.
I don't think there's a reload
booster. I can't remember if it's there, if it starts to Martel, but Algerie? No, Algerie's got HE and AP.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It does have main battery reload booster. You're right.
Yeah, but I for me, I like French cruisers, right? So I might have put an Algerie there if I had to take a Tech Tree 7.
I was thinking of Zara, even though you were saying Algerie. My bad.
Yeah, no worries. And so that might be one that I would have taken because I like that ship.
With those exclusions, I mean, it's like Algerie and Shores and York, because you're not going to take Surrey with its range and squishiness, I don't think. And you said, oh no, you said British. British was taken by a
Take
COTC.
British because of COSIC. So yeah. So it's that, or you're taking something weird like a
Endrocked.
You can take an Endrocked and you could drop airstrikes, right? That has those. I don't like Endrock that much, but it fits a role.
I wouldn't have selected it either necessarily.
Is Shores the Russian 7? That would probably play really well as at least at lighting fires and doing that ranged thing.
Yeah, I'm joining the room, our next room here, and it looks like they are ready to go. Okay. These guys just wrapped up their battle. I think they're just using a contiguous room here to make it easy. And these guys are going to be jumping in on Solomon Islands. But yeah, you're right. With the national restriction, picks get hard. So I think that might be one of the reasons why Miyoko made the cut for that team. That might have been it.
Yeah, you never know. They, I don't know if they set out and said, "Hey, we got to get, Abruzzi in there either," right? And so, hard to say, without having a direct interview with these teams and going, that's one thing in this. It's that we don't have a sideline reporter that we can shove a microphone in anybody's face and go.
I love, yeah.
We're gonna throw to Doris down there on the YETI sideline. Doris, could you ask them what they were thinking?
There we go. See if we can get the focus back on the camera. No? Yes? Come on. Yeah, exactly. I used to watch touring car racing, and the lady who was down there running around on the grid at the start of the race would go around. She would open the door to a race car all by herself and jam a microphone up underneath the helmet and start asking questions. And I was like, boy, I would be so annoyed if somebody came over. Don't touch my race car. Don't do that. But I think it's just part of the deal. But you're right. We don't have a person down there, who's going, all right, YETI, can you explain to us the Miyoko pick? But that's a crazy thing to think about. We are going to be going into Solomon Islands next. Now, this is a very low tier map. I believe that is at least our next one. Right now, they're showing Trident in the room, but I think we're between matches. I think these guys might have walked away to go take a breather there. We do have the Tumars team is going to be facing off with CANUCK, and we'll soon have those players ready to rock and or roll. Should be great. Got a few CANUCK players filtering in. Whoever's running the room, I think Waves is running the room, and so he hasn't sorted us to our individual slots just yet. Solomon Islands is, like Scott mentioned at the top of our streaming session tonight, it is a map that has very high mountains in it that you won't easily be able to shoot over, and there's a long sailing distances. So we'll have to kind of see where the teams wind up going. The one match I've seen on this so far in the tournament spent most of its time at Bravo and Charlie caps, and we'll have to see if they split and try to do all three. If one team goes to A, one team goes to C, and they both kind of scrap over B. That's a pretty traditional thing that winds up happening here. And we'll just have to see what goes on and where the players decide to put their ships and what the spawns look like. They are getting the teams arranged. They have not yet put us in the spectators box yet. I hope they don't hit battle without us.
And they have somebody else down there, which I'm confused about.
Yeah, he might be he's a YOLO member. He might be here as an administrator. There we go. They've slid us down to the spectators box. He's got a little star on his name. I don't know what that's all about. Kawaii says our Commodore is a big Abruzzi stan in chat. That's fantastic. I don't dislike the boat. It's just that you don't often see people taking it into anything that's competitive. But, we don't see a lot of Tier 8 competitive. So maybe I guess we see ranked battles, but I do hope that we see it here coming up soon. Looks like these guys... Looks like they're supposed to be doing Solomon Islands, but it looks like they're currently on Trident. We'll see if they get that corrected. And if not, and both teams are fine with it, I guess that's probably not the end of the day. It looks like they're working on the map right now. They are fixing it.
Well, there's some real tension before the start of this match.
Yeah. The CANUCK clan, featuring 4 players from 2 different clans. It looks like CANUCK team, I should say. The 2 Mars team is 4 individual clans participating in this battle. Very, very interesting. They're still going with Trident right now for some reason. There they go. They fixed it. Oh,
whoa.
wait. They unfixed it.
Sea of Fortune. In my role as a super tester, I spend a lot of time in training rooms, and I can assure you, this is always how it feels.
Yes. All right. And away we go to the battle. Let's get into it. This is our 2 Mars versus CANUCK battle. Let's adjust that slightly. There we go. Get in here and we'll take a look at what ships they've brought to bear, and we'll talk a little bit about Solomon's and its unique challenges for teams. Largely sightlines and being very separated from one another. We are seeing a tier 5 in this match, the Acasta. Let's go find out what teams are on what. Here's the large island layout. Red team separated is the Chapayev. Next to it, we've got the group of 3, Haida, Boise, and Amagi. So a Japanese battleship, Haida, a Canadian destroyer, which only makes sense for the Canucks team, and Boise, a state that is very close to Canada. Scott, what do we got over on Team Green?
The green team has spent their tier 9 points on an Azuma. Their DD then suffers and is a tier 5 Acasta. They have a Gneisenau and a Tallinn.
Okay, very interesting. I don't know that I would have brought Azuma as a tier 9. That is a bold pick.
It's a bold strategy, Clyde. Let's see how it works out for him.
Yeah, exactly. Chapayev is going to start off the match, turning to the left and moving towards the Alpha Cap. All 3 of the 3-pack red ships are moving in towards B. So it looks like they're going for an Alpha Bravo strategy. We can see Haida has burned its turbo. The darker smoke coming out of the stacks there on that ship, decorated with the maple leaf camouflage. 3 green ships appear to be steaming directly towards the Charlie Cap. Acasta leading the way. Did Acasta launch its turbo? Looks like maybe yes. So we do have a high-speed Acasta rolling in. Talon is moving towards Bravo. I'm going to expect... Now, Talon's jumping across this cap. I was thinking they might go over to this position here next to the island to help resist the Bravo cap, but no, it looks like they're going for a 4 ships to Charlie pattern.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they're going hard to Charlie. They're pushing in. Shots have already been exchanged.
Ooh, Amagi takes a big hit. Look at that. Well done by Team Green. That's pretty rough. Here comes more shots from Gneisenau.
Yeah.
Let's follow those in.
I think that was Azuma AP that did that damage.
Oh my heavens. Maybe Azuma is the top dollar pick. What do I know? What a crazy opening salvo.
Azuma is misplaced.
Listen, we accept ships of all manufacturers and styles. Azuma's getting it done, dude. That is wild. Haida is stepped into Bravo and is 1/4 done with the cap. One of the nice benefits of having a diamond-shaped cap is, when you're 25, 50, 75% done. And Haida is moving forward to get eyes on these ships. Talon is spotted Haida, and shots are going up. We do have a radar active from the Talon. Big hit against the Canadian destroyer.
Talon's driving so hard for that island, though. That's probably the only salvo he's going to get.
That's a bad angle. Yeah, well, not a bad angle, but You're right. He's going to have to back up.
They're both going to throw it in reverse, but Chapayev's going to get to do a little bit of farming now on Talon from that range, it looks like.
We can see the angle Chapayev's got right here as he kind of scoots by to pick up the alpha cap. Now, that shot from Chapayev, if they didn't already know, Green Team now knows where Chappie is, and that's given him some intel on who's over here at Bravo. They know it's a 4v3, and that Chappie's probably out of the fight if they can isolate these ships one by one.
Looking at the position that the Boise's taken, it just opened up its guns, probably for the first time because it can't shoot very far.
The range being very low, yeah.
And it's in a kite away position, and he's opening up fire on that Gneisenau that's pushing.
Yeah, Gneisenau is pushing around basically alone. The other ships have gone towards the inner channel there at Bravo. Azuma behind Acasta and Talon, and so Gneisenau is pushing into Boise effectively solo. Gneisenau's guns aren't the most accurate, but if he can catch a piece of that Boise, it's gonna hurt quite a bit. Amagi seems to be helping out as well. Big chunks out of Gneisenau. Oof.
Yeah, this is what we talked about with the topography of the Solomon Islands map. That Gneisenau is alone now. I don't know if he's alone and unafraid, but he is alone.
Definitely alone. And here's a good-looking shot coming right through the hills there. You can see against Amagi. Decent chunk out of Amagi. Not a Citadel or anything, but large pens. Looks like reasonable pens. Gneisenau, I suspect, is going to wind up on fire. But the Boise is, of course, always going to be threatened by the big guns on Gneisenau.
Gneisenau has slowed his roll finally. He's thrown it in reverse. He did push in close enough to get into secondary range, but this isn't Prince Heinrich. That's not Gneisenau's ultimate strong suit.
No, definitely not as maneuverable as we would expect from the new battlecruiser line. Gneisenau, of course, is going to be able to tank a lot of that. It does have a decent armor layout for a tier 7 battleship, and it's not the first time Gneisenau's had to stand up to Amagi fire. If I were Gneisenau, I'd probably turn my nose more towards Amagi in this instance, but it looks like he's trying to get his back guns in play, but as he does so, he's opening himself up to a more and more perpendicular angle to Amagi's guns. The 3 ships over here from Team Green are healthy. Look at them. All of them are basically full health. No, they are all full health, although Talon's about to maybe take his first damage, and Bravo Cap is being collected for Team Green. Azuma's going to push on towards Alpha. Acasta is hiding, I think, waiting maybe for an opportunity to torpedo somebody who aggressively pushes into B. Acasta doesn't have to do a lot at the moment. 2 caps and a point lead, as long as Gneisenau doesn't go down, which looks like that could be a big ask for the Gneisenau. Acasta doesn't have to do anything, but I think he needs to start getting in motion in order to make something happen. Haida is smoking. Who was threatening Haida? Why did Haida smoke? Did you happen to see that? I missed that portion.
I believe he threw smoke for Chapayev to hang out and farm from.
Oh, okay. So he was helping Chapayev, maybe with a transit and or farm. Yeah. Gneisenau is very threatened. Lots of fire coming in from effectively all 4 red ships, and we lose our first ship of the game, green battleship, down. That's waves 0011110000110011 to the bottom of the ocean.
So we see now Azuma making a play for Alpha. He's going to try to flip Alpha and should have 0 resistance in doing so. Azuma's got great range, so if he has vision and he can turn the corner on Alpha, he really outranges most of these guys, probably with the exception of Amagi.
That's almost certainly true. He might even outrange Amagi. It's competitive, right? It has good range on Azuma. Acasta's been spotted and shot up. He does pop his smoke. I'm not sure if he's under radar right now. He could be. Shots are still rolling in. Let's see if we've got Chappie radar light up. Nope, nothing on Chapayev. But Acasta's safely behind the rocks there. The trouble Team Green's going to have is now it's effectively a 4-on-2 while Azuma is out of position down there at that Alpha Cap, talking about some of the challenges you brought up earlier, Scott. These islands don't make it easy to stay as a group unless you just stay as a group. So we'll have to see how teams choose to approach this map as we watch more and more battles on it throughout the course of the tournament.
Yeah, Zuma broke into the cap and then turned hard out, I would say, right? So now he's driving to J1 at this point. he's opening up the distance he'll have. I'm assuming that he's going to turn back in and he's opening up his gun range a little bit before he gets out there and has to engage. Looks like that might be his plan, but he's definitely hidden by the island at this point.
Yeah, agreed. And I think very soon here he's going to have that line of sight, those shots. We can see how his guns are currently aimed right here in Azuma. I think he's going to probably take a line to try to pick off some shots at any of these 3 ships right here. The trouble is they're all fairly healthy. Amagi isn't going to make a big difference because he won't be able to bring him down in just a few salvos. He's going to want to wait until he's done. Look at that. He's finished the cap. Now here come the shots. He didn't want to risk not getting the cap. Green's got all the caps, all the points in the world, and red is moving through in formation as a team. Talon torpedoes coming. What's the range of Talon torpedoes? I thought they were short.
4 kilometers.
Yeah, this is a small map, but I don't know. If those work out, that is going to be a very exciting play for Team Green that could change things a little bit. It looks like Amagi has come to a stop before those are going to cause any damage.
The Boise came around to harass in Charlie, and they've got the Talon now.
Is absolutely pincered.
But Acasta has some good-looking torps out.
Oh, not good looking enough. Got one, yeah. And Talon is about to feel the wrath here of 4 red ships. Acasta's next, and we'll have to see how long it takes for Azuma to come around. Boise's grabbing that Charlie cap. That stay together, win together strategy worked with the red team here, whereas the green team was trying to play that points game, the caps game, and wound up losing ships they spent too many hit points to get those cap points. Ooh, Acasta is suffering greatly and now gone.
He got stuck in a position there where he got stuck on the island, or he pulled up to let his crew off. I'm not sure which, but that ended quickly.
Poor guy. That's a rough thing when you have that group barreling around. If Talon's torpedoes had landed, maybe that would have shaken things up a little bit, but it still would have left a lot of work for Azuma to get done before this game was over.
So we're down to 45 seconds. Red has a commanding point lead at this point, I would say.
Yeah, 110 points, 115 points up, and they're not in any danger, right? They're playing ring around the rosy with these islands. Azuma's not going to be able to motor fast enough to get up there to affect those guys. There's Chappie's radar. They know where Azuma is, so they can safely avoid him at this point. Should be no problem for Team Red to just wait out the clock and collect that victory. That's going to be a victory for the CANUCK team over the 2 Mars team. Well played, CANUCK. Well played. 10 seconds on the clock. And there it is, all closed up. 4 ships alive for Team Red. Only the Azuma standing on Team Green.
Yeah, Solomon's is a rough map. Lots of long transits with those 2 big islands, right? We know that from low tiers when we play it. So it's hard if you get separated like that to get back in the play.
Yeah, definitely a challenging match. Well played by the teams involved, of course. Honestly, Green did a great job of grabbing the caps and owning the sea, but they just spent too much. They overextended their ships and then put Azuma in a place where they weren't able to support the rest. Like we said, those long sight lines are a tough thing. We are between matches again. I'm going to go ahead and get our scenes set up here for the next one. Our next battle is scheduled to start in about 9 minutes. Let me go into studio mode here. Allow me to narrate as we do the behind the scenes things. We're going to be playing the Cotton clan versus the Kitty clan. And say that 5 times fast. That's going to be a bit of a tongue twister, I think.
Well, the Cotton team versus the Kitty team. I don't know if we know.
Oh, that's true. Kitty team.
I don't know.
I
if
always
these
say
are
clan.
Associated. There are clans of Cotton and Kitty. I do not know if either of these teams are associated with either clan.
No, that's a fair point. These are teams for Clash of the Clans. They are not necessarily clans.
Clash of the classes.
Oh, gosh. Is Beer here? Beer, don't fire me, please. I mean, excuse me. Clash of the Classes team of 15 people. Please don't fire me.
In my head, when you said "is beer here," I immediately thought, "Are you drinking beer over there?
do you have a beer over there?"
I was like, "What's going on?" Like I've secretly replaced my normal streaming Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper with Budweiser.
That's right, with a Heffen Budweiser. We are getting things going. We've got our next battle is between Team Cotton and Team Kitty, and we are going to have that start up here in a few minutes. Let me see if I can find our room here, and we'll find out what map we're going to be on as well. Looking back
The room is
at
there, but it looks like they're in their previous fight still.
Okay, so we'll give it a second here. Looks like they're still getting things done. Yeah, I love the idea of tournament play on Solomon Islands, but I wonder sometimes about those long sightlines, the separation that occurs there. You know, in low-tier ships, when you actually play the Solomon Islands maps, your ships are slower, but even though they're faster at higher tiers, you know, we still saw Zuma struggle to get around there and come back and be relevant in the fight. I've made that play where I said, well, let me run down here real quick, and found out that real quick wasn't that quick. But that is kind of the way that it goes at times. We did get a nice raid there. I just noticed I don't have my notifications on because we are doing tournament play. But so thank you very much, Thurback47, for the raid. I appreciate you, good buddy. We'll try to take good care of your folks here and show them some great play during Clash of the Classes and our coverage of the tournament today.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to take a break for station identification. I will be back momentarily.
Sure. I think that sounds great. You're watching twitch.tv/Clyde Plays Live. The time is 6:04 p.m. Here on the west coast of these United States. The weather is probably whatever it looks like outside your window. I'm Clyde, and we're keeping you entertained here in 5x5, the drive until 5 with the things that are live on Twitch. That was lame. I hope Scott didn't hear that, so he won't make fun of me later. If you're just joining us, if you came in with Thurback's raid, I thank you very much for coming and hanging out. I hope you have a great time with us. What is Clash of the Classes? This is a 4 versus 4 tournament. You use a point-buy system to pick up your ships. They are 41 points in your budget to spend on ships. They cost between 6 and 18 points depending on tier and on whether or not they're a premium ship. There are a list of ship bans and exclusions. You can check out all the rules for the game, or for the tournament, I should say, at clashoftheclasses.net. Each team is comprised of 1 battleship, 2 cruisers, and 1 destroyer, and it, of course, is hosted by the Clash of the Clans team, a group of about 15 people. I've worked pretty closely with Hold My Beer to help get this thing going. If you guys see Beer or any of the other organizers, let them know that you really appreciated the tournament and you had a great time watching. Remember, there is a prize for whoever gets the best clip during the tournament. So if something crazy happens during the show and you clip it, you as a viewer can win a prize. I don't remember how to submit those. I think you might do it on the Clash of the Classes Discord channel. You can check the clashoftheclasses.net website and the rule book that is posted there for all of the information on how to do that. I feel like the prize is like 15,000 dubs or something. So that is worth doing. Watch this stream, watch other streams, and find yourself the best dang clip you can. I am going to go and check to see if our room is ready here. Appreciate you guys hanging with us while we kind of bounce between battles and figure out what's going on. It looks like they are currently still in their previous battle. I'm going to pop in and see what's in there. Yeah, they are still in that battle. So we're going to bounce out of here and just give those fine folks a second to get ready to go. Clash of the Classes is just a really interesting tournament, very, very fun and well-designed tournament. Lots of interesting dynamic choices of what you're going to bring for ships, the maps you're going to play on. I just think everything here is a little bit more interesting than we're doing a Tier 10 tournament. We're doing a Tier 9 tournament. And it's just really well done. It seems like a great group of folks. This is my first time being involved with it, as we are here on Season 4 of the Clash of the Clans, Clash of the Classes tournament. I'm sorry, guys. But it's been really interesting to see how everything works in the tournament and get to know some of the folks who are involved. So I hope you guys are having a good time with us tonight. We'll be going for about another hour of tournament coverage, and then we'll be back again tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's 8 p.m. Eastern time here in these United States, and you'll be able to come back here for another couple hours of action with me tomorrow night. The tournament will continue into the week. We'll have some tournament play throughout the week, and then next weekend we'll have the playoff bracket starting up. I'll be doing at least a Saturday stream if you want to come and join me, but of course there are other great streamers as well who are involved with this, Game Prodigy, Sith Kitten, among others, and I recommend that you find those folks if I'm not running, or maybe even if I am, you figure out who's running the stream that is most your speed and your style. We'd love to entertain you with more of this. Somebody click that.
I mean, don't go watch someone else. I mean, like.
Oh, Scotta says no, guys. Never mind.
That's heresy.
I thought you could, but.
No, if we're not on, like, if we're not playing, then yeah. But I mean, like, this is where it's at. This is where it's at for.
I can't imagine wanting to be anywhere else personally.
No. Succinct, exciting dialogue between the two of us talking about things we're not too sure about. It's great. It's a good time.
Hey, are there boats in this battle, or what's going on?
I don't know about you guys, but this is the best World of Tanks tournament I've ever called.
Yeah.
Pretty excited.
It's funny. We were talking about early tournament play in World Warships back when the game was new on the CC Discord, or maybe it was. Gosh, where was it? I think it was on the CC Discord, and Sea Raptor posted a link to this old tournament from like 6 years ago when the game was real fresh and new. And they had a tournament, but they had World of Tanks players calling it. And the Tanks players didn't, I mean, they knew some things. They had been coached, you could tell, but they just weren't really World of Warships players. They didn't really know what was involved. It was still fun to watch and see what the game was like 6 years ago. Obviously, lots of changes since then, including a burgeoning tournament scene.
Yeah, no more arty play allowed in World of Warships. They removed all arties.
Yeah, we got rid of artillery. Yep, got rid of gold rounds. All of those wonderful things.
Don't talk about gold rounds. I don't want that to invade our game.
Yeah, I don't want them getting crafty with that either, actually.
Well, it looks like they may have finished up that last match just because the number of people in the training room has reduced some. I don't know if we want to go in there yet or not.
I'm popping in. We'll see what's going on there.
Right, what's going on here, you boys? You're supposed to go at 6:10.
Let's see. Streamer has arrived.
Oh, boy.
VODs available later if interested at twitch.tv. Allow me to mutter all of this to y'all. All right, let's see. Did I set up the... Did I put the names in? I did put the names in. Cool. We are good to go. Let's find out what map we're looking at here for our next battle. This is... Cotton versus Kitty, and that is Big Race is our map. Let me grab the Big Race map here. Pull this up. Now this is going to be the Epicenter map for the tournament. Big Race is another low tier map, and of course it's just rings of islands with an epicenter series of caps stacked on top of those islands. The islands, of course, are going to cause or provide opportunities and places for ships to hide, but also reduce sightlines for ships that are trying to get damage done. We do know that Epicenter draws players close together, and hopefully we'll see some pretty good action here. Looks like I'm being greeted by the Fire Kitchen, who's in this battle, who's a member of the Casual Organization of Global Gamers, the same stream team that I'm a part of as well.
The one FR Wretchen asked if we've been streaming lately. I said, yeah, we're doing that right now.
I don't know if he was talking to me or Darth, so I didn't say anything.
It's fine.
He's like, have you been streaming lately? Yeah. And we're like, now is a time when we are streaming? Yeah. The Fire Chicken. Yeah, I don't know. What Big Race, the teams do get to know what the map is, I think, obviously, because they're the ones who are setting up these battles as we get ready. Knowing that you've got an epicenter battle coming up, I don't know if that helps me choose choose different ships for that. It must. I'm sure people think about that strategy. But I guess we'll have to see what's going on. I think you might see some smoke cruisers in this battle. I think you'll definitely see something with radar. With all the ships close enough together like we're expecting, we're going to see definitely radar being a useful tool in a battle like this one.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see Epicenter back and not arms race. That's all it's the only take I have
arms
on
race
that.
and tournament play. That just sounds like chaos. It's already chaos in random battles. All right, we've got the teams sorted up. They're trying to get their ships readied. Right now, we've got 2 of the 8 players ready. It looks like 3 now, but everyone's in their appropriate slots. So as soon as we've got opportunities, an opportunity to, I guess as soon as they say we're good to go, we'll just switch over to the other view. I just like the word opportunities. I try to say it too often.
This is the final countdown.
Pretty much. That's 6 of 8 players ready to go for big race. I have this cool browser screen. I wonder if it looks good now. Let's put that up. See, this says the tournament begins. There's not a lot of data in here. I want this to be cooler than it is. I don't know. I'm going to go back to big race.
I just told everybody that you're ready to go. Oh,
No, you're good. Yep.
Right on.
I got you. Thank you. Now, you are absolutely authorized to say if we're ready to go.
No, I don't want them to. You're like, no, I don't have my thing.
I mean,
people.
Listen, I want to make sure we're streaming well, but oh my goodness. Interesting builds. Let's get in here and talk about them. This is Big Race on Epicenter mode. I actually think this is one of the better maps for Epicenter mode. The red team is populated with Friedrich der Grosse, a secondary machine if there ever was one, a Brest at tier 9, I believe is Brest. Yeah, and a Minakaze for tier 5 in the destroyer slot with a Trento, a tier 6 cruiser. Scotto, what do we have over on Team Green?
Team Green has a tier 8 Vladivostok, tier 9 Alaska, tier 7 Fiji, and a tier 5 Kamikaze.
I think if I had built one of these teams, my team might look more like Team Green. I like those ships better in large part, but
touching every tier, overpowered ships. They've got all the ingredients, right?
They really, really do. Now that doesn't mean that red can't get something done. We'll have to see how it goes.
No, I'm excited to see this combination in red. It's an interesting layout to spend your points on 2 tier 9s.
It really is, right? But it does bring that cruiser down to Trento level instead of a 7 like they have in the Fiji. Now, I was right. We do have smoke on both teams. We've got Kamikaze and Fiji bringing smoke on Team Green. We've got Minakaze and Trento bringing smoke on the red team, red being Team Kitty. And we'll have to just see how they choose to employ it. I hope Trento has an opportunity to use it and make good use of it.
No radar on red.
True.
Brest has hydros, Trento does not, Minakaze doesn't, Freddy does. So some interesting sensor loadouts as well.
One of the things we've talked about is, when this new cruiser line from the French ships came out, would it be used in competitive to be an extra battleship when you're not allowed one? And that seems to be what Team Red has done here. They've said, what if we brought 2 battleships, but one of them is a cruiser? And so we'll just have to see how Brest performs, whether or not its DPM is going to be low, if it's going to be too low to be effective at some of the jobs that we need cruisers to do, like destroyer swatting and so on. Trento has taken up a beachward position over here. That's not a word. And he's using his smoke in a stationary position. I don't know what he's feeling threatened by at the moment, but the smoke is activated. It could have been an accidental smoke.
I don't know. Let's see how that plays out. He's left the outer ring. He's moving back in now, so making some choices over there.
Yeah, red has grabbed the center cap relatively easily. Minakaze stayed way outside in this outer ring, put some torps towards where the Kamikaze is, but I think those are basically blind torps. I don't know that the Minakaze has eyes on anyone at the moment. With the low detect of Kamikaze. Alaska is holding down that outer ring. Red is making no progress on caps, and green is working on the intermediate ring, the second ring, the middle ring, if you will, having already capped the center.
Right now, one of the things that's probably benefiting the Freddy's positioning, because he's obviously kind of doing that everybody look at me tank thing, is that he finally is on fire from the Alaska, right? But the Fiji can't light him on fire. So if that was a cruiser over there with HE, I think he'd be burning a lot more now already.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. If Fiji could reach him with HE, he'd be in big trouble. Especially with the large superstructure on that ship. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, just say Minakaze over here exchanging some torps with the Kamikaze that smoked up.
This is an interesting engagement that's happening, and I think neither of these captains want it. When I'm in a Minakaze, because I don't have a Kamikaze, I don't want to be torping at another DD. I want to be torping at a larger, easier to hit target, and I don't think the Kamikaze wants this fight either. But to the Kamikaze's benefit, all he needs to do really is stay in that intermediate ring. Unless Brest pushes into the center cap, Minakaze is not in a position to help the red team get any points. So COTTN, is holding point gain against the Team Kitty's lack of point gain, I guess. I couldn't find the words there. Now Trento's pushing across here. Right behind the Brest. Trento is broadside. I don't know if he's going to be spotted. Well, he's spotted now. He's opened up the guns. Alaska is in a position to punish a Trento if given the opportunity. And here come the shots. Oh no, those are going back here for FDG.
Alaska's still using his HE on Freddy at this point.
Yeah, I don't know that that's a crazy pick either. I mean, Freddy is down to about a third of his hit points, maybe 40%. And if they can bring him down, that's a big point swing for the green team.
Did Vladivostok, I thought I saw it out of the corner of my eye, but did Vladivostok actually catch one of those Trento torps?
I don't know. He is down about 11,000 hit points, so that would make sense. I haven't kept as good of an eye on Vladivostok as I probably should have at this point, especially given his forward position. This push is pretty aggressive.
He's moved into a strong position to draw their attention away, right? Like he was trying to get around on their side, right. And now you see the Brest is now moving to counter.
That should set up Alaska for some good shots, because if Freddy wants to be bow in towards Vlad, if he's concerned about that at all, he won't be able to be bow towards Alaska. He's got to pick.
Yeah, and see, Alaska just took an AP chunk out of Freddy, right?
Big chunk. That's exactly right.
Vladivostok's trying to get him done.
Vlad is going to mop him up. Oh, this is looking dangerous.
Brest just took an AP chunk into Vlad, but at that angle, that's probably a lot of recos.
Yeah, and that is the end of Frederick de Grossa, cleaned up by Alaska.
So we got Minakaze torps here for Vlad.
Yeah, I think he's going to dodge most of them. Ooh.
That last rack looks like it's going to land true.
Yeah, he's going to collect 2. And look at that. Even though it's a tier 5, those torps are hitting hard enough.
And Minakaze
is well done, Fiji.
Deleted. That is painful.
Brest is in smoke, but at its size and range to the Vladivostok, that's not doing any good. So Brest is spotted and is getting peppered by Fiji, and he's about to be approached by Vladivostok in a very uncomfortable manner. If I was Brest, I would not be very happy about this positioning at the moment. Possibly maybe able to clean up the Fiji, but Vlad's going to finish the job, I suspect.
Brest has a heavy broadside, and so Vlad needs to turn in quick.
Yeah, with Brest guns off toward Fiji, though, I think Vlad felt safe to make that push.
Yeah, he was.
Trento is ensmorkled over here, moving up on Kamikaze. I feel like Trento is probably trying to make this Kamikaze move happen, but I just don't see that being a big shift in the game. 4 ships to 2. Yeah. This one's decided for
his problem is that Alaska's waiting over the Kamikaze's shoulder.
That's exactly right. You can't take Kamikaze's lunch money when his big brother's right there. And
Alaska catches Brest on the crossfire. That's rough.
2 kills for Awesome, 1 kill for the Fire Kitchen. We've got Trento here coming in to kind of close up the rest of the battle, maybe get a little damage on Kamikaze before it is all over. 955 points on the clock for Team Green, 255 for Team Kitty. Team Cotton's going to take the win, and there it is. Clean sweep, 4 kills to none. Ouch. Real big challenge there for Team Kitty.
Yeah, and again, like we talked about at the beginning, the green team loadout with an 8, a 7, a 9, and a 5
Yeah.
Felt more comfortable to us than maybe leaning in on 2 9s and then the 6 and the 5. Now I'm not sure if that really had anything to do with it, or if it was sensors, combination of aggressive play or positioning. Obviously, all of that culminates in a World of Warships match, but that looked painful, unfortunately.
Well, and I think you could see the red team trying to react to what was going on and just struggling to get ships in the right place. I feel like Trento was kind of in a position that wasn't really beneficial. If Trento had been able to stay over on that one wing, it would have prevented or at least slowed Fiji's wraparound, which might have made it a little bit easier for the Brest to deal with the Vladivostok early without a whole lot of contention, or with less, double teaming going on with Fiji over there. But yeah, gosh, what a tough thing to do. And FDG just being a sponge, the other members of the Kitty clan needed to take advantage of FDG tanking and make something happen, and the positioning just wasn't there to do it.
Yeah, that's twice now in the matches that we've called where we've seen some of the new French heavy cruisers, right? We saw Cherbourg earlier.
Oh, that's true.
We saw Brest that time. So again, like you mentioned earlier in that one, we weren't really sure how often you would see those ships in competitive. And again, this is kind of a different thing.
Yeah, this isn't clan battles exactly, but
ranked or clans or whatever, right? It's a different thing, but definitely interesting to see those ships both represented so far. Also, at this point, we haven't seen anybody splurge on a tier 10, as far as I can recall. So
yeah, I don't recall seeing any tier 10s either. Again, with limitations on which ones you can bring. I'm surprised we haven't seen a Schlieffen. I know that's a very popular ship. Whether or not I think it's the right pick is another question, but I'm surprised that somebody hasn't said, I'm taking my Schlieffen. And I would imagine...
or Prinz Ruprecht or Prinz Heinrich.
For that matter, that's true.
I'm surprised we haven't seen any of that line so far tonight in the matches that we've viewed.
Yeah, the Heinrich is a really strong 7, although maybe not the most armored, and we expect very close engagements in this. But I love the Prince Heinrich, very strong boat. And yeah, as you mentioned, Ruprecht, great pick as well. Even Zeton, maybe I would probably lean towards the 7 or the 9, maybe before Zeton, just because of the gun configurations. But Zeton is no slouch; it gets work done too. So perhaps we'll see one before the tournament comes to a close, and maybe they've seen some in other battles as well.
So I checked, and it looks like our next room is available.
I was just going to say, we're getting ready for our next one, and I was going to go check for it, but you're ahead of me. Good job. I will give it a search here. There it is. Let's see. This battle is going to take place on Polar. I'm glad, I kind of picked these rounds somewhat randomly, and I'm glad we got a variety of maps today. We do have 7 of our 8 players ready to roll for Group 4. I got a message from the team lead here who's setting everything up. We are doing just great. Well, this has been a fun experience so far. I hope you guys are enjoying watching the coverage back at home and enjoying the battles and the conversation that we're having here. I know this is one of those things that seems to take a lot of setup, but once we're in it, it's pretty fun to take care of business.
Yeah, this is interesting. The MOGUS team is fully represented by players in CASC. So
this is going to be some skilled play, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's get over to the match here. MOGUS, remember, is our KSC clan, are represented from members of KSC clan. We've got a Nueva de Julio over here, a Drake, Massachusetts, and out here on the wing is Jean Wei with the deep water torpedoes from Tier 5. Scotta, what are we seeing over here on Team Red?
Prinz Ruprecht that we were just talking about.
There it is.
A Fubuki as their destroyer, a De7 Provincian as their cruiser, and a Perth as their other cruiser.
Honestly, these are all decent picks if you know what you're doing with them. Jean Wei is a bit out of left field, but not totally. I enjoyed Jean Wei when I played through that ship, and I think its deep water torpedoes could be used to good effect. There's only going to be one ship on the enemy team that you can't torpedo, and hopefully your cruisers are going to deal with him. No radars on the MOGUS clan. I find that interesting. And in fact, no radars in this match.
Nope, no radars. Lots of HE, heavy HE, broadsides from the Drake. A lot of HE, rapid fire from the Nuevo. Massachusetts is Massachusetts, right? And it's interesting. This is, I think, the first time that we've actually caught a match where we saw a Dutch cruiser, and then this Prinz Ruprecht. So I'm interested to see if we see some airstrikes get thrown in the mix and how that plays out.
Prinz Ruprecht opened up the main battery guns, and so has Perth after starting up his smoke. Perth was spotted by Jean Wei. We saw the shots come from Massachusetts first, and he suffers a bit of a hit there. The team, the quad crew here is rolling over towards Charlie with 3 ships, with Perth leaning over to get into Bravo. Nueva de Julio is looking to post up on this island, taking advantage of some angled fire when he can against Perth. He could be spotted by Fubuki, which could cause him to be threatened by G7 Provincians' airstrikes. We'll have to see how that emerges as the battle continues to advance. Now, Drake has pretty good range. It's actually the first one of the British heavies that has decent range, and he's in a position to put this range to good use. Look at this, just 9.8 kilometers away from Ruprecht. This map is so small, and Massachusetts is moving up to get secondaries in play and take advantage of those short distances. Jean Wei is going to cap A, and look at the gap between these 2 different caps. It must be 2, maybe 3 Jean Wei lengths between Alpha and Bravo. Jean Wei is going to go for a twofer, while these guys scrap over the Charlie cap, hoping to steal a lot of hit points from the red team before things go on. Team Red here, Ruprecht is pushing in. That's very aggressive. Scotta, what do you think about that play against the setup the green team has?
I don't know if he's pushing in or if it's the fact that this map is 3 kilometers wide. This is like a tier 2 map. This is such a night fighters map, and so Ruprecht's moved up because Massachusetts has moved up and they met each other. Perth's back there, and he's taken a lot of hits even in his smoke. We've seen.
Check that out.
I've seen the D7P do a couple airdrops already. Not much effect on Massachusetts, and so this map is just so tight. Just really low sight lines, really small. So it's kind of interesting to see what happens next.
The Ruprecht and Massachusetts, if you've ever played Polar, you know this rock formation right here that I'm showing on the screen. Ruprecht and Mass are basically parked on either side of it. Massachusetts is basically, I think, baiting Ruprecht to come around. I think Jean Wei is going to try to go
He's baiting him. He's baiting him for Jean Wei. Yeah.
Yep. Jean Wei is going to go in here with these deep waters, and they're tier 5 deep waters, but let's watch what they get Oh, they're away. Here's the torpedoes on Ruprecht. Those are great. Look at that. Jean Wei with a kill against the tier 9. I can't believe it. Oh, man. Epic play.
That's professional play you're seeing right there. They reeled him. They reeled that fella in. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, tough break for the quad team, but an amazing play by Jean Wei. Having a 5 take out a 9 is really changing the balance of this game. Fubuki is escaping, or at least trying to escape, from the Charlie cap now, with Nueva de Julio moving up boldly. Acoustics lit so he can see the torpedoes coming from the little Fubuki, and knowing that he's got enough threat with the Drake behind him. Look at these lines. Drake can basically take shots toward D7P. And Massachusetts is going to meet up with Fubuki over here, which we could see a repeat, but I would be absolutely shocked if it worked out quite as well as the last one. Fubuki's using his guns. D7P putting guns against the Nueva de Julio, but getting caught up on the island. Here comes Nueva's shots, and some shots from Drake as well. D7P is under a lot of pressure, and Fubuki is losing a lot of hit points. Just 16 left, and he goes down just north of the Charlie cap. Perth staying at range, spotter plane up, and he's trying to aid his team in that way. But at this point, it's 2 ships to 4. I'm pretty sure that MOGUS is going to walk away with a victory here against Quad. And man, what a cleanly played victory it was. Quad, of course, still putting some damage out there. It's just going to be a really crazy turn of events if they're going to make anything happen here that changes the outcome of this game, as it appears at the moment.
Yeah, that's a rough one. It's hard to see it go down like that, but obviously that big play with the Jean Wei, that really is a tail of the tape on this one. You're just in a bad way when you lose your tier 9 ship that way.
Absolutely. Well, and we know from, other competitive tournaments and from clan battles, KSC is a very talented team that brings a lot of skill to play. I think this is going to be a team to watch, the MOGUS team, as we continue to advance in the tournament and see just what it is, and I should say who it is, that's going to make it into the bracket play here next weekend. I'm really hoping that we see some excellent play, and that was just one amazing little twist where Jean Wei came up and surprised the Prinz Ruprecht. We're just kind of waiting for the situation to wrap up here. 4 ships blinking at the D7P as Arrow of Achilles, the last standing member of Team Quad, goes down. That's going to wrap up our coverage of the MOGUS versus Quad battle. Congratulations to MOGUS for taking home the victory. Honestly, looking at the team lineup here, we can see KSC all a purple clan. Quad is gold and whatever the light green color is for the next stage Beyond Storm. None of these players in here are slouches, but obviously really, really well coordinated play from the folks in MOGUS. Great job. All right, we're going to bounce out of our training room here and head back over to the chat studio. Incredible to see that go down the way that it did. I believe that is our last scheduled match of the day. I'm going to message Beer to see if he wants us to pick anything else up. We may have one more that we could do, and I'm going to go take a look at the schedule. If there's something else, we could do it.
Yeah, we've got time. The matches went quick, and if we can help out Beer, and if there's any teams that haven't gotten to be on Twitch, that want to be on Twitch on our little channel or your little channel, that'd be cool.
I'm going to put a post out here. Let's see, coordinators. Got some free time if we have another match we want to go. All right, I'm gonna go take a look at the schedule and we'll see what's going on, guys. Hopefully we can get another one going. Again, if you're just joining us here, what is Clash of the Classes? It's a tier 4, or not tier 4, a 4v4 tournament. All right, he's asking us to cover SAMPS versus GDP. We are on it. All right, let me find out who is the person for SAMPS.
We covered them once, didn't we?
We did. We had a SAMPS match earlier tonight.
So that we probably have that info readily available.
Yeah, I don't know if they're setting it up or if...
they didn't earlier, so they may not be.
Yeah, I gotta... GDP is the other group.
After watching that last one, I just wanted to go peck at while you're looking.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll vamp a little bit here. I wanted to go look at the stats on Jean Wei because I didn't like Jean Wei when I played that line, as I remember.
Oh, you didn't? That's funny.
I remember not liking Jean Wei because I feel like its concealment wasn't that great. But what I'm looking at is Jean Wei's torpedo armament. Those are 6.4 kilometer deep waters, 2 racks at 3, which we saw him unload both racks, right? And I think all 6 landed. But those have an alpha of 16,700 per torp. There's plenty of tier 10 destroyers in this game that don't have torpedoes that hit that hard. Those deep waters in that line in general are powerful armament. So that's something where you can come in, and spend your points wisely, as they did. When you know that ship and you have that strength and that ability, you could put out a lot of damage if you land those torps like that, which we saw. I mean, it just crippled a tier 9 battleship.
Yeah, that was fairly powerful. That was fairly powerful. I thought it was a fun ship to play back in the day, but it has been a long time since I've played it. But man, oh man, great play. And it, like we said, we knew that Massachusetts was baiting that player, and we just watched it happen. It was tough. Tough to see that go down that way. I just messaged the lead, who's setting up that match, and we will go there when we can. I can see a chat is catching up with us 3 minutes ago. They're talking about the big shot there that just a little bit ago here, probably 3, 4, or 5 minutes ago now. But yeah, excited about this 4v4 tournament stuff. I love the concept of small team tournaments. Every ship is so important. Every play is so valuable. Every big salvo, anything can really change the way the game's going to go. That does mean games can be a little swingy, but you know, swingy, excitement, sometimes those are synonyms. And if we decide to go with excitement, then they sound a little more positive.
Yeah, you think about it in that composition, right? In the way you build these out, it's so interesting. You know, every hit point, every heal, every possible consumable, and how you those iterations. And I don't think once we've seen the same lineup twice in any of these teams. It's pretty exciting.
No, exactly. It's such a complicated, I shouldn't say complicated, but it's a relatively detailed set of rules. And so as a result of that, you know, you're seeing lots of variety, and that's something we just don't see in other competitive modes. You know, particularly, you know, we always fall back on the clan battles example, but that's one that I think most people who do competitive, most people start with things like ranked. Maybe they move into clan battles, team-based competitive, it's just a wild thing to see, all of the variety that we're seeing, and of course the way these players are interacting with each other. Ships that have no business fighting each other. Jean Wei should not be in a battle with Prince Rupert under any circumstances, let alone win. A real David and Goliath scenario, even though the ship that was there was not a Goliath, it was a Drake.
It's fun to see. It's fun to see, and it really highlights the variety that's available in this game that we both enjoy, right? And how
Truly.
You know, we talk all the time about different ships, and it's getting to the point where for a while I felt like I could keep tabs on everything, and now I'm starting to lose track. But there's so many ships in the game, and this style of tournament really brings that to light, and I really think it brings a nice light on a lot of ships, and we're seeing a lot of things happen that you normally wouldn't see.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're so used to the typical meta and everything, the normal things that go on in World of Warships, that, you know, this is something that's outside of that norm. And so it's pretty, we get to see things using the same building blocks that we're used to. You know, we're familiar with the ships, but we're not familiar with some of these interactions between the ships. And so it just adds a little bit more value, or a little bit more, maybe value is kind of the wrong word. A little bit more, I guess variety maybe is the word, where we just see new things. Sorry, what's that? Spice.
Bringing spice to life.
Spice. That's right.
Yeah, it's different, and it's fun to see, right? It's not tier 10 clans or King of the Sea, where it's how many French destroyers will there be, and you know that stuff. So it's neat that this is it's neat, and kudos to Hold My Beer and the team that put this together. I think it's really a lot of fun.
Absolutely. We are going to be doing the GDP versus SAMPS battle, which I think they already played each other once tonight. Oh, Beer is hosting it? Hang on, we might be changing rooms. Let me see if I can find it.
Found that room, and I found a room that Beer is hosting.
There it is.
Is that what we're going to?
Yep, that's the one. Let's pop in there real quick. Thank you. All right, we're here. Send him a message about us. There we go. Greetings, everyone, and welcome. We are going to put together one extra bonus battle for us today. Let me go ahead and I'll try to get the team names set up correctly. This is going to be SAMPS and what's this other one? GDP, Gross Domestic Product. There we go. And these guys, it looks like they're going to be playing... Gosh, I don't know what map they're playing on. This, I think, is an unscheduled map. I bet you they put it in the temporary schedule. Let me see if I can find it.
This is TAC GDP TAC, and that is not gross domestic product. That is Purple Granddad.
Okay. I'm going to try to not decode that anymore. I don't know.
Nope.
I don't know what that's about, and I'm happy that way.
That's safe and fair to do. There is a GDP clan. This is not them. This is the other one.
No worries. I'm just glad we got here in time. It looks like we might be doing big race again.
Well, that's exciting. And it's not arms race, which I'm all for.
Mm-hmm. So if we wind up on big race, I'm asking for some confirmation there, but we'll see that Epicenter map again. We could see some pretty exciting play here. Now that one we had 2 battles ago, just before the polar map with MOGUS, shoot, who did MOGUS play? Now I've already forgotten. And Quad. And this one, of course, will have SAMPS and GDP. If we wind up with big race, we'll get a chance to see how Epicenter plays out again. Hopefully we'll see some aggressive pushes. I'd love to see a couple of ships get into that intermediate ring, that second ring, and exchange a little gunfire, whereas we kind of had a ring around the rosy effect on the last one. I suspect if we have a push to the middle, it'll be a little bit later on in the battle. But these battles are so fast and so aggressive. We'll have to just see how people choose to approach Epicenter, because there's just not a lot of battles where this is the capture style, and so they don't get a lot of practice on this map unless they're scrimmaging outside of tournament hours. Just a reminder, folks, we will be back tomorrow night to do a little bit more of the tournament play. Same time, we'll be starting up here 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and going for about 2 hours. We'll probably start up about a half hour ahead of time like we did today, just to kind of chat about things, make sure we all set up, the delay is working. We'll reach out and communicate with the teams ahead of that. So if you guys are playing in the tournament and we expect and we wind up messaging you, especially if you're setting up the room, we're just going to try to establish those comms early so that we can get through very smoothly. We had a great time tonight. We didn't have any teams that no-showed or anything so far, so we really appreciate everybody coming together and doing things in a very expected way, which made it easy to set up and run through these matches tonight. Just fantastic.
Yeah, we just show up and watch people play. It's not. This has been really. It's
super great. Easy.
Yeah,
it's
great.
Super easy.
No drama.
Yeah.
Nobody's asking us to be refereeing or like counting points or anything. We're just like, hey, some boats here.
I don't want anything to do with any of that. Like that sounds great, but all y'all should take care of that on the side. I'm just gonna come here and give my opinions on what I sees in the pixels. Looks like that guy's going off to the left. What do you think there, Scotta?
Sometime we were gonna organize like a tier 3 Clyde plays tournament, so then you'd have to do some of that stuff.
Yep, and when I set up a tournament someday, that's what it'll be. It'll be chill. And yeah, we'll have to do all of the business things. But today, when I'm a guest in Clash of the Classes house, I just want dessert,
It's a delight. We just hang out.
I feel like this is the way to go. We did have a player who had a computer crash. Looks like they're back now. And so we're getting the 4th player ready to go here, folks. We should have our action beginning relatively soon. And we're bringing you a bonus battle here on twitch.tv/ClydePlaysLab. You're watching twitch.tv/ClydePlaysLab. It's 6:46 p.m. here on the west coast of these United States. Take a look outside for the weather. I'm Clyde, and of course, riding shotgun with me here is Scotta, where we have opinions about what's going on.
Yeah, so the real question while we wait is when we do the playoff rounds, which is next weekend.
That's correct.
Are we getting matching blazers, and are we going to do this from behind like a desk? Is there going to be like a like a whole? Are we getting high production value for that one?
Well, that's a possible thing. We joked about that, and if we do, I think we'd set it up in my game room with the shelves and stuff behind us.
We'll both be taking 3 or 4 days off work to build a studio set.
To build a studio. It looks like we were waiting for another streamer or two. I got a message in chat. He's looking to get in on this one as well. So we are waiting for one more streamer. The teams are ready. I'm not sure if Beer's gonna say let's go or if we're gonna hold for that last streamer. But if we do, we will we'll get going here pretty quickly. Otherwise, we'll be just a moment. Beer says sending it. Okay, we're going in, folks. This is our final battle of the evening. If you've been here from the beginning, thanks for being a part of it. If you joined us midway, thanks for joining us. We're glad to have you. My name's Clyde. This is SAMPS versus GDP, the final battle of the first night of regular season play in the Clash of the Classes tournament, right here at twitch.tv/ClydePlaysLive. On the green team, we have a Baltimore, a Fujin, Cherbourg, and Roma staring down the rings of Epicenter. Scotto, let's talk red team. What do you got on that side?
Purple Granddads are represented with a Shkana, a Cherbourg, an Odin, and a Shores.
Okay, so interesting picks there, right? Odin being kind of a softer battleship in terms of armor. Roma being a little tankier, I think. Both teams bring in a Cherbourg. Baltimore for the radar, excuse me. Shores, no radar. And then Fujin versus Skana. You know, I don't know. Actually, I think Fujin might be the better platform there, although Skana does have longer range torpedoes.
No, Fujin's the better platform there. Fujin.
You're just flat. That's the answer.
Skana's an interesting choice. I don't feel like we've seen any pan-Euro DDs so far. I think we've basically seen smoke show DDs. The fact that the Skana can't bring that to bear, it does have some longer range, faster torps, which is interesting. And Skana's guns aren't terrible, but no smoke there. In fact, no smoke at all on the Purple Granddads.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting point. We're seeing a split on the green team. So SAMPS is basically sending Roma and Fujin to one side of this island with Baltimore and Cherbourg pushing the other side. Skana is into the intermediate ring and looks like making a push for the central cap, with Shores and Cherbourg finding positions behind this island here. Odin joining them. I feel like that's kind of a crowded area geographically. I'm not quite sure what the plan is there, but we shall see. We are seeing some shots come across from Baltimore, Cherbourg, and Roma through this little island chain. Everyone is on this kind of southwestern corner of the battle. I'm expecting to see some action here. We might get the battle I was hoping for.
Yeah, so the
big hit on Skana. No, go ahead. Just somebody got a piece of Skana.
SAMPS Cherbourg was probably the first one who took a decent hit, moving up into this island position that he finds himself in now. So he's kind of there, beached, and I think trying to figure out where he's going to go next.
Yeah, I think so too. He does have some airplanes over him. Of course, no aircraft carriers, so they're not strike planes. It's just the spotter from the Odin. I don't know what Cherbourg's planning. Do his guns reach over this island? Is he waiting for someone to step out in front of him? He may get that wish, but I don't think so. I think that was an error.
His guns can't shoot over that island.
It doesn't look like it.
They're too fast. The velocity's too fast, and he's too close.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And we are seeing what looks like potentially a 4-ship push that's going to come through there. Cherbourg and Odin are steaming forward. Shore's not going quite as fast, but it looks like he's getting underway now. Shore's also running the cool camo from last year.
The GDP Cherbourg has really opened his side up here to a shot from the other Cherbourg. Now there
it is. GDP Cherbourg. Oh no! 2 big shots. Did he single fire the guns? He did. Yeah, unless Baltimore got one. This is aggressive. The Cherbourgs are going toe-to-toe, nose-to-nose. Big shot against Baltimore. GDP Cherbourg targeting Baltimore probably because of the radar to help give his team a little bit more flexibility in motion. The 3 ships behind Cherbourg are behind an island. They're not helping to take any of the damage. They're not making the green team make a decision. Both Baltimore and Cherbourg can focus on a single target. There's no splitting of fire. There's no coordination required. Dangerous for Red Cherbourg. As GDP pushes in, it looks like he's going for the ram.
He's definitely going for the ram. I don't know what else at this point he'd be trying to do with that maneuver.
All right, look at this. That was a huge trade in favor of GDP when it comes to health points. Skana's looking low as well. Baltimore not letting him get away for free. Here comes some shots from the battleship.
The Odin has mounted the shores and is trying to turn it. That's a bold strategy.
Well, sometimes your ship just doesn't have enough rudder, and so you jump on board and get a little bit more done. Skana is 1,087 hit points. Torpedoes are flying towards the Baltimore. Those are probably pan-Euro torps from the Skana, because shores aren't going to reach that far in most cases. Going to take 1, maybe 2. Ooh, those were Shores torps.
Yeah, they were Shores torps.
At least the first set was.
I don't think Odin's loosed his yet, although he may have loosed them already.
Team Green's in dire straits, although Shores and Skana are very low. I don't think this battle's decided just yet. This is exactly the battle I wanted for the wrap-up of the night. This is fantastic.
Look at these Fujin torps curving in towards the front of this Shores. Can he stop in time?
Can he stop in time? Yes, he can. But that puts Shores is in a dangerous position with Roma.
Side to that Roma.
Good night. Roma brings him down. 2-2 at this point. Low hit point Skana. Score right now favors the green team. That's SAMPS over GDP. Roma is smoked. Look at this play though. Fujin smokes up Roma. Oh my god.
Odin's got a full head of steam here. You think he's going to turn hard around this island and charge out there?
I think he's going to go to the second island, and I think he shouldn't. I think he needs to turn hard. Oh, he is turning hard. Yep, he's turning in on Roma, and he needs to, because, frankly, at the end of the day, Odin is the one who has to win this for GDP. Skana is not going to be able to affect the change in the score that he needs.
Oof.
And Odin doesn't get a big... Doesn't get a real
Odin's
big hit.
guns aren't that big, and he needs to turn in hard, because here comes a lot of Fujin torps.
He's gonna beach.
No, he made the turn.
Yeah, you're right. He did. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and he needed that angle in order to get. Look at this. Is he gonna avoid those? No. He's only taken 1 though, which is better than I expected for him. Skana's still peppering the Roma and getting away with it, which is amazing. Skana's getting some work done, and with his hull repair, was able to push up to 2,600 hit points. Given a lucky shot from Odin, they could be back in this game.
It's opening up to get his rear turret involved.
Yeah, Roma's got a great angle for sloughing off that smaller Odin AP. I don't think he's going to be able to crack the shell there, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, secondary DPM on Odin just isn't potent.
No, I mean, it's going to help, but it's not going to do it.
He doesn't have any fires going right now, and here comes the next set of death from the Fujin, right?
Yeah, this should finish off our Odin.
Those torpedoes reload just very quickly.
So quickly. That was an explosive and exciting battle. SAMPS coming away as the winner. GDP coming off in a second position out of 2. So victory to SAMPS. GDP is going to have to come back and rethink that strategy. And at least that turn of events. Big push there. Great game all. I'm going to bounce out of this room. Well, that, I think, folks, ends our coverage of the Clash of the Classes games matches this evening. I thank you so much for being a part of the stream, guys. We will be back tomorrow night. And we will be doing more battles, another 2-hour session. Like I said, we'll probably start about a half hour ahead of the scheduled stream time at 8 p.m. If you want to show up just for the battles, around 8 is going to be there. We do have a delay on the stream because this is competitive tournament play, and so we'll have that kicked off again tomorrow. Scott, thanks for being a part of the show today. Any parting words, final thoughts? What do you hope to see tomorrow that we didn't see today?
That's a good question. Is there any ships that we didn't see today that I would like to see tomorrow? Or anything, I guess. I'm gonna take that in the form of ships.
Yeah, that's fine. That is kind of what I was thinking.
I'd like to see some more of the German battle cruisers. See how that plays out. We saw a lot of stuff I didn't expect to see. I did not expect to see an Odin, but I'd like to see that. I don't really feel like I saw a U.S. destroyer at all.
You know what I noticed was everyone brought lower tier destroyers, and they spent their points on cruisers and battleships.
Yeah, lower tier torpedo destroyers, with the exception of that match where we saw that COTC.
Yeah, we did not see
really
very many
higher
tier 8s.
Higher tier gunboats, not a lot of gunboat DDs, a lot of torpedo DDs. Because lower tier torpedo DDs, torpedoes hurt no matter what, right? So
they still work.
You know, I think, but I'd love to see somebody just be like, no, we're going to spend our points on a Benham. Like, just chuck torps. Maybe one of the upper higher Pan Asians that can just vomit deep waters. Maybe like Sejong. But that's it's so expensive to have to buy that as your tier 9.
Yeah, I mean, if you're buying that, like, wouldn't you buy in Alaska? You know, like, it's tough.
Yes.
I expected to see things like Kid, you know, like COTC. I thought we'd see more of that. Of course, I'm coming at it from a destroyer main perspective, so of course I would. But I understand why. Like you said, the torpedo boats work just fine. They can up tier really well, whereas battleships and cruisers really don't up tier as well as a destroyer does. So we should not have been surprised to see lower tier DDs today. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, Tiger 59 didn't make it out today.
No, no, it didn't.
Belfast 43 didn't make it out.
You know, Belfast could work, but I understand why it's not being chosen.
Yeah, I mean, it's an 8. It's just cost too much for what it brings. That's why they banned Real Belfast, because Real Belfast would do really well.
And it'd be cheap, right? It'd be so cheap.
But I mean, like bringing those, when you can bring a tier 7 cruiser with a heel. When you can bring Fiji or like we saw Brutzi come out and she has a heel, like when you can do that, or we saw Boise with its mega heel.
Yeah.
When you can get that cruiser paid for on a 7 budget, but it still has like hydros and a heel, right? That's a value. That's a great value that lets you then free up points so that you can afford to do more up the line, right? So I'm looking forward to what we see tomorrow, and I think this has been a lot of fun, and hopefully your viewers enjoyed it.
Alrighty. Yeah, I agree. You know, I'm hoping for a Flint tomorrow, maybe. Let's hope for a Flint. I don't know if we'll see one, but yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. Scott, thanks for being here as part for the show. We do have a delay right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and put up a "Be Right Back" sign, and we'll run out the delay just so you guys don't miss any of the action. We hope to see you tomorrow when we come back and do more of this, and of course, we'll be back for the playoffs next weekend. Of course, my name is Clyde, and this is Clyde Plays Live. If it's your first time being here on the stream, we stream World of Warships here 3 days a week. So you can join me next week during the week for our regular streams, and we'll be happy to talk about just anything. Regular ships, we'll run random battles, all kinds of great stuff. On Tuesday night, we're doing a special production where we talk about all of the ships that we expect to see in clan battles on when the new season starts up here on the 15th, and we'll hope you guys will join us for that. It's a very interactive thing where you'll have Scott and myself on voice here, like we have been tonight, just talking through the ships. We'll take questions and comments from the audience, and we'd love to hear your guys' opinions on what you expect to see and what maybe you and your clan are planning on running in the clan battle season. With all that said, we are going to find a nice and well-deserving stream that needs a few viewers and raid you guys over, so don't go anywhere yet. We'd love to send you along to somebody who can maybe keep the show rolling for y'all. Like I said, we're going to put a few minutes in here so that we can get this conversation out there and you guys can hear all of this, and then we'll raid you over to someone else. You know who I owe a raid to is our boy Kevasib. He throws raids our way all the time, and he's often getting offline before I have a chance to raid him. So guys, thank you again. I'm going to mute my camera, mute my microphone, and we'll wander away. But don't worry, we will get this rated out to Kevy here shortly.